All right. Hey, welcome to the live taping of the Gill Connections Podcast right here at USTFCCCA. I don't know how I got talked into this, but it's live tonight, fellas and ladies. No bleep buttons, no edits. We're going to see what happens today in today's interviews here. So the idea tonight is we are going to have coaches, other people in our industry. I've got some awesome people that make treadmills and relay meets and all that kind of stuff that we're just going to interview for 5 to 10 minutes at a time and just have fun right here at the convention here in Denver, Colorado. And so speaking of relays, we're going to kick this off with still my all-time favorite track meet in the whole world.
Oh, that's very kind.
And I'm not saying that just because he's right here. I'll say it all day, every day. And that is, we have here the director of the Drake Relays. I've got Mr. Blake Bolden. Blake, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me. Thanks for putting this together. This is really fun and exciting.
Yeah, we'll see at about the 2-hour mark how fun.
Yeah, how excited you still are 2 hours from now.
I've got some water. I don't have hot tea. I need that, which you're experienced with today.
That's right.
So Blake, kick us off here as we look into the 2022 USTFCCCA Convention here in Denver, Colorado. I saw kind of a cool announcement today coming from the Drake Relays, which I thought might have been a little unique. Tell us more about what happened and what you announced today.
Thanks, Mike. Well, we're about 58 minutes now from the start of the technical symposiums. There are 8 sessions, 4 disciplines: jumps, throws, sprints, hurdles, and distance. And in each of those 8 sessions, there will be a leader in our industry talking about their expertise and sharing with coaches. So we were able to partner with Sam to sponsor those, to support the coaches and coaches' education, but also to give an opportunity to share the news that we announced today. And we aligned this sponsorship with this announcement that we've restructured the university division of the Drake Relays with a complete focus on performances for those university athletes.
Now, having coached at the Drake Relays and having attended many of them, the athletes, what I love about the track meet is it is athlete focused at the Drake Relays. I mean, it's really, as a coach, I really appreciated how much the athletes were taken care of. Tell us about this. This sounds very double down on athlete centric here on the competition.
Yeah, those things like clerking, appropriate call times, friendly officiating, if there's such a, if you can use that adjective for that noun. We have very friendly officials that are focused on the student athlete experience and that opportunity to compete in front of 14,000 fans. And, you can win the Drake Relays, you got to do a victory lap and a champion's flag, and we really celebrate those college athletes. But this is less about celebrating them and instead setting the table for them to maximize their performance. So, for the first time in decades, we've committed to, if necessary, wind reverse the 100 hurdles and the 110 hurdle finals. And that's one of many different examples, so we're all detailed all those improvements at drakerelays.org, and that announcement is out today. But really what we've really done is some small tweaks to sprints, hurdles, distance, but really revamped entirely the field events. So awesome. The jumps, the throws, and particularly the horizontal jumps and the throws, we're going to take 24 athletes to an open competition. That's down from 32. So what that means is each flight of the prelims will have 12 athletes rather than 16, allowing these athletes to get a little bit better rhythm and have less waiting time between these 3 rounds of prelims. And then 9 athletes will go to the final, get their chance to compete. But more than that, we're adding an invitational university division in all of those events. So 9 athletes, and these, we may not even see full teams, but already some coaches today that have international athletes and national caliber throws, particularly long throws. Excited about the opportunity to come and know that they're going to get 6 attempts. And this also means we'll have up to 18 collegiate athletes getting 6 attempts, 9 in the open and 9 in the what we're calling the champions section.
What I love about this, the Drake Relays is now 100 and something years old, which I love.
113.
I love that. And you're continually evolving, looking to get better every year.
Yeah.
I mean, what drives you to do that? As you sit in the seat that you sit in as the director of Drake Relays, how are you always constantly thinking, what's better? How can I continue to make this a better and greater experience?
Well, the coaches. The student athlete is the focus, and that's what these coaches do every single day. And they're incentivized to do that financially and otherwise. And they're focused on getting ready for their conference championships and the national championships. And we our fans and we as a staff, that's what we want to be part of. We want to find not just the Midwest best, but the nation's best to come and show off in front of a sold-out crowd. And having these 9 finalists in the field events allows us then, too, to place it more strategically in the meet program. So we've never been able to do long throws in our Friday night program where we've got a good crowd and good energy and it's later in the day because the sun sets and it's just gets dark in our throwing sectors. Right. So for safety reasons, we've only ever thrown on Friday and Saturday afternoons or in the morning. So with only 9 athletes, 6 attempts, we're talking about getting that done in less than an hour. And it's better for the athletes that they can get in, get amped, and then get their 6 attempts alongside 8 other of the top athletes in the country.
So I just have one favor to ask of you. I feel like you might have this pull. So my favorite event in the entire world is the shuttle hurdle relay. And, obviously in Iowa, first of all, shout out to Iowa. Has it as an actual event for your state meet. Love that. Right. And it's a really famous, well-attended, well-celebrated event at the Drake Relays. Can we get that as an NCAA event, please? I just would love that.
We'd love that at the Drake Relays. And I know who else would love it is the folks over in Indiana State. They're committed to it, and they do a terrific job. They come and they represent, and it doesn't matter who's in that event. Don't count out Indiana State Sycamore because they're in it to win it every year.
That's Hurdle U.
That's right. Man. That's right.
Blake, thanks for being here. I'm going to end every interview tonight with what are you most looking forward to in 2023? I feel like I can answer for you, but I'm going to let you answer. What are you excited for here in 2023 track season?
Yeah, 2023, this change in university division and really reshaping the college section of the Drake Relays and seeing how coaches respond and then the momentum we get from this day all the way to 2024. Because right now, coaches have set their schedules, many of them for 2023. So we're really talking partial squads and some of that. But there's already excitement about the 2024 Drake Relays and that reshaping the commitment to university division.
I love it. All right, we're going to end every interview with a selfie, man. Get up in here. All right, you were the first on the live event, brother.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, Take those off. We'll have the next guest coming up here in just 2 seconds. We're just going to keep rotating them through all night. We're scheduled 5 to 7 p.m., but I'm not going to lie. If people are still waiting at 7 p.m., I'm here all night. What do I got to do? I got nothing else to do, except for actually this gentleman actually invited me to do something tonight, so I will have to cut it off at some point tonight. So, hey, introduce yourself and welcome to the live version of the Gill Connections Podcast.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having us. Lane Anderson. I'm with Boost Treadmills. We're in the microgravity treadmill space. I spent 27 years in intercollegiate athletics, specifically track and field at Auburn University, University of Iowa, Texas Tech, and University of Tennessee. So in 2018, I transitioned out of that into a new chapter in my life, professionally, personally, with my wife and kids, and it's been a great transition. But beauty of my job is it keeps me coming to the convention and to track meets and events like this with you.
Yeah, Lane, I can't remember if we met when you were at Auburn. I know for sure in the Iowa space, for sure, but I was always impressed with just your breadth of knowledge. And everywhere that you have been, you've always had success. I mean, that's just kind of the cool thing about your coaching and your coaching style. Talk to us, there's a lot of coaches that, I don't know if you get this, I bet you do. As someone who used to coach myself, I get a lot of, hey, what's it like on the other side? Still involved in track and field, but you're not coaching. How has your experience been?
It's been wonderful. I mean, I had an opportunity probably 2 or 3 years before that when I was at Iowa, before I moved to Tennessee, and it just wasn't a good time for me personally and professionally, but when Boost Treadmills called, and probably the most difficult conversation I ever had was with Beth at Tennessee, and just letting her know that I was going a different direction, but she was incredible in supporting my decision. Yeah. And it's great on the other side. Obviously, I miss a lot about track and field, the energy, the student athletes, the building of relationships with families. But this provides me a lot more weekends at home, a lot more flexibility. I work remotely, so I find a coffee shop in Knoxville, and I work when I'm not on the road, and my time away is greatly reduced, which is been well received.
Absolutely. So tell me more about Boost Treadmill. As you could probably imagine, I'm not on a treadmill very much, but I probably need a boost to get on it. Tell me, what is Boost Treadmills? What do you guys do?
Well, our founders started Alter G many years ago.
Sure.
And their goal was always to innovate and to improve functionality, to improve affordability, more importantly. I bought 2 Alter Gs when I was at Iowa. They were $80,000, $90,000 a piece. So we've been able to improve the technology but bring the price down. So we've been in business since 2018. We've got over 400 machines out in collegiate athletics. Just this past outdoor championships in Eugene, for instance, there were 9 trophies awarded because there was a tie on the women's side, I think, for 4th. And Boost customers earned 8 of those trophies. At the recent NCAA Cross Country Championships, 7 of the top 10 men's and women's teams are Boost customers. So we've really come in and taken the space. We've got a lot of folks who came from a track and field background. And again, we offer great products that's at a price point $40,000 to $45,000. It's just a lot easier to manage when it comes to fitting it into your budget.
And I love what you said there. You didn't use this word. I'm going to put the word in your mouth, though. The authenticity regarding hey, there's a guy who did it as a coaching space with this, and now you're talking to coaches with this. You're not coming from just a sales or engineering background. It's like, oh no, I was in the muck. I did it right where you were doing it. So I love that authenticity from Boost Treadmills.
No, and it's technology. My iPhone glitches from time to time. I have to take it to the Sprint store. I mean, it's technology. You're going to have an issue. I wish I could tell you something and tell you for the next 15 years you're never going to have a single problem. And one of the things that we stand by in that commitment is that, hey, you have my cell phone number. If I sold you a machine, you call me. I'm going to have our head technician in touch within an hour or two, and we're gonna diagnose, assess, and more importantly, create a plan to get you back in action, because the machine never goes down at the most opportune time.
Sure.
And when it goes down, all you want is to know that somebody's going to put their attention into getting it going again. And that's been our calling card. I think that's a big reason why we've been able to capture a large percentage of the collegiate athletic space.
So give me the 30-second version. What is the difference between a Boost treadmill and a regular, when I go to the gym, yes, I go to the gym, treadmill? What's the difference? Why? What's the 40,000? What's the benefit for your
we
athletes?
basically are using air pressure to create lift and reduce impact. So I can put you on there in 1% increments down to 20% of your body weight. I can run you on a treadmill at a speed up to 18 miles an hour, at an incline up to 15%. So it's great in the rehabilitation space. It's great in the recovery space. In the sports performance space, at 18 miles an hour, you're going 52nd quarter meter speed. So it's an overspeed training tool for a lot of folks. And I have never, that was probably why I joined Boost Treadmills. You can imagine my wife's dismay when I came and had a conversation at the dinner table, said, hey, I'd like to go to Boost Treadmills. She said, you want to leave a job at the University of Tennessee to sell treadmills? And no discredit to treadmill salesmen around the world, but it's just a product I believed in. It's a product that I know works, and it's a product that you don't have to sell. It sells itself. And at that price point, it's not like taking candy from a baby at Halloween, so to speak, but it's been a much easier sell. And we've got high schools and NAIA Division III, Division II schools that use our product as much as the Power 5 schools. So,
well, I know for people that are here at the convention themselves, you have a booth, so they can check it out. For all of us online and for future podcasts and stuff, where can they reach Boost Treadmills?
Just go online, boosttreadmills.com, and we have a machine here. We have a machine here, so coaches can come by and check it out, run on it. You know, we've got our event tonight that you're coming to, and we're just excited to be here and support the coaches. We know the challenge, we know the grind. We all lived it, 80, 90 hours a week after week after week away from your families. There's a tremendous amount of sacrifice in it. And if we can help in any way, and outside of just selling you a product, that's what we're here for.
I love it. So boosttreadmills.com. I love it. All right, man, we're ending every interview with a selfie here. All right, you look much better than I do in that one, man. Thanks for joining us, Lane. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, brother. All right, we'll get geared up here for whoever our next guest is. You don't know. We didn't set this in a schedule, so I don't know who's going to be next. Actually, now I do know who's going to be next. So introduce yourself, and let's get started tonight.
I'm Tim Byers. I'm the new KU Relays Director, and I'm just here to let people know that KU Relays is back.
And it needs to be back.
Yes,
what a tradition-filled meet the KU Relays is. It unfortunately gets a little triumphed over a couple of others,
right.
But I don't know that anybody has the history that KU has for the entire sport of track and field.
Right. 1923 is when the relay started. We have our 100-year anniversary this year, and we're looking at Jim Ryan, Billy Mills coming back, Sharon Lokiti, a lot of local people coming back. It's just a lot of history that's there at Kansas. The track and field and cross country programs, there's only one other program that's won the national championship in basketball. I think you've probably heard of them before.
Mm-hmm.
They're a pretty good team, right? And then cross country and track and field there at the University of Kansas.
Well, Stanley, I love Stanley to death and does a great job. And the staff that's been there for the coaching staff for the longest time has always been really first class and just top. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Tim. How did you get to the K relays?
You know, I'm a born and bred Lawrence kid. I was born in Lawrence Memorial Hospital,
Okay.
so I've been going to Kansas Relay since I was probably about 6-7 years old.
Wow.
I coached for 28 years, and then this position opened up. It's been vacant for a few years, and you know, to have the opportunity to bring the Kansas Relays back to a Lawrence kid is very, very emotional and very for me and stuff. So I want to bring it back full force. I want people to know that you know, this is something that's going to be around for another 100 years.
Awesome. So tell us, you know, tonight we're going to have a lot of track coaches. I'll be the bulk of it, of course. But what does a director of relays at KU do? What is, and I know the list is long,
right?
But what are your top 3, 4, 5 priorities that you have to accomplish for the K relay?
You know, one is just getting the trust back for, you know, the track and field community to tell them, hey, it's back. You know, there's rumors going around we're only going to be there for 1 year, then we're going to stop. That's not true at all. I wouldn't take a job just for 1 year and stuff.
You're smarter than that.
Yeah, I don't get Bill Self type of money.
Yeah.
So, you know, so,
which we could do just for 1 year.
You know, so you know, our big focus right now is getting the high schools to come back to Kansas, Missouri, and Texas and Oklahoma areas, and then and providing a great competition for our collegiate athletes too. So going back and forth between those two is, you know, that the student experience is the number one thing for me. I want them to come. I want them to say, that was a great relay meet, and we want to come back next year, or they want to put it on their calendar for the coaches for the next 3 years.
Awesome. And so what are the dates this year?
April 13th through the 15th.
April 13th through the 15th. It's the 100th
year.
I mean, if you're going to ever try out the KU relays,
absolutely.
Shouldn't this be the year?
I think this should be the year.
It's when we're recording this, it's the middle of December. Is there still time to get entries into the KU?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Entries. We're doing a top entry list, so the top 45 or top. We're not going to put a minimum mark on anything, because we found out a lot of times people end up not entering because I'm not hitting that. But
right.
We're just going to do a top enter, and we accept all 4x1s and 4x4s for high schools. Yeah. So they're even, you know, they can come and have a great experience. We seat right around 8,000 out there, and we can do more with.
And what a facility, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, good gosh.
It's beautiful.
Come on, man. That is amazing.
It's an amazing facility.
Well, Tim, to wrap it up, I actually kind of did something fun here.
Okay.
So I have 100 questions here. 1 through 100.
Okay.
They're random.
All right.
I'm talking about random.
Okay.
You get to guess. You get to pick the number 1 through 100.
Okay, 12.
All right, so we're gonna go 12. I thought you'd have picked 100 for the KU relays. I'm gonna ask the 100th one. Just
okay, 100's fine.
I'll do 12, but I'm gonna do 100 as my bonus question.
Okay.
All right, number 12. So, did the apple fall far from the tree? Let's hear it, Tim. Are you Team Apple or are you Team Android, man?
Oh, I actually have both in my pocket right now. KU has the iPod phones, and I had an Android before I came here, and so
I was not expecting that answer at all. Well, I'm Team iPhone.
Okay.
I only have one phone. I don't know what Tim's doing here. And because it's the 100th anniversary of the KU relays, here's question number 100. 100. Y2K was a bust, but are you setting any New Year's resolutions this year? If so, what is it?
A New Year's resolution? I'm getting a new hip in February.
Oh, really?
So I'm excited to, you know, it's just kind of gotten to that point where haven't been able to do my exercise and do things like that. I used to do Ironmans and things and stuff. So now this hip kind of, so I'm ready to get that new hip and start my road back.
Well, I'm from Alabama and I can't even spell Iron Man, so I'm certainly not going to do Iron Man. We really honestly just pray for your hip, man. My father-in-law just had both of his done in complete recovery, by the way.
Heard it's a life
He's 100%. He's a basketball guy, so he's all in it, man. So I just hope that everything goes well and that 2023 is going to be an amazing year for you personally.
Thank you, Mike.
And professionally. Let's get a selfie.
Okay.
All right, brother. Hey, thanks for being on the show, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That is exciting. 2 relays in a row, kind of, right? So we had the Drake relays and we had the KU relays. I don't know if this next guest is going to be a relay participant or not. Hey, someone asked me about my hat. I love this hat, and I'm not a hat wearer. It's a track nerd hat, right? I love it. All the stares that I got in the airport were definitely worth it. If you want to know more about the hat, so my friends at Prep Running Nerd, PrepRunning Nerd. They're on Twitter, of course, because that's where I live, right? So check them out. These hats are boss, man. I love it, and I hope you love it too. All right, hey, let's get on with the next guest. Introduce yourself.
Hi, Jessica Shearer, the head girls cross country and track distance coach at Desert Vista High School in Phoenix, Arizona.
You know, here's what I love about today's world, Jessica. You and I have no idea who each other is. We were introduced this morning through email. And, that is really, honestly, one of the reasons I started the podcast. It's one of the reasons that I'm on Twitter 24/7 is meeting new people. If I just stayed in my little bubble in Champaign, I wouldn't meet anybody. So I'm so thankful that you're here, that you took the step out again, not knowing me or anything, and being here, Jessica. Really, it's really cool and says a lot about you. It really does.
Yeah, it's a great part about conferences and
Yeah.
just getting to be and talk with like-minded people and folks that are interested
Well,
in the same things.
yeah, hopefully not like-minded with me, or then I have to judge you, Jessica. You should be like-minded like me. But tell us, Jessica, how many years have you come to this convention, and what are you doing here?
Yeah, so my first year at the convention.
Nice.
So I coached a track distance program when I was in college. I was in the Marine Corps for some time, moved back to Arizona, and took on the head coaching job this past year. So this is my first season.
So what are you looking forward to? You obviously you saw the schedule and said, okay, I like this, I like that. What are you looking forward to most this week?
A lot of networking. I think just talking with more experienced coaches and just kind of hearing from them what makes their program successful. I've got a lot of very talented athletes, and so as they're looking for their next steps in college, I'm looking for speaking with college coaches, hearing what kinds of things they're looking for. Some of the times that some of my young runners need to be hitting this year.
Right.
So.
You said a fun word there, networking. And I say it's fun because it's one of the things I love. Because to me, networking is about meeting new people and giving value to people. Other people think of the dark side of networking, like, oh, how many business cards can I collect? Or how many people can I find that'll help get me a job? How are you, because it's a hot topic right now on Twitter specifically, how are you, I'm going to say, tackling networking at an event like this? What's your kind of goals and your blocking and tackling style here?
Right. I think just being open, just like this. I was talking to some folks on the line here. Was waited to come up and chat with you. So, yeah, just trying to put myself out there on Twitter too, and just go up and introduce folks as I see names on name tags and
Isn't this so helpful? I don't have mine on. I wish everybody would wear name tags at all times.
Yeah. So just chatting and talking and,
Awesome.
just trying to take in everything I can.
Okay. Is there anybody that you really want to meet? Maybe someone I know, maybe I can introduce you. Is there someone you're like, you know what? I want to get to know so-and-so.
I don't think I.
That's the thing with live. I put you on the spot.
Yeah, I don't think there's one specific person.
Okay. All right. Well, if there is, let me know. It's one of the things I love, bringing people together. So please leverage me in my network and our network here at Gill Athletics. Okay. All right, Jessica. So we've got something fun here. I've got 100 just kind of random, wacky, off-the-wall questions. So they're numbered 1 through 100. We're going to do 2 of them. What's the number you want to tackle first?
13.
Lucky number 13. All right. Don't get lost at night. Are you a camper?
Well, I spent about 5 years on active duty in the Marine Corps, so if you want to call that camping.
You
I
have to
spent
do
some
some
time outdoors.
functions of camping. Yeah. What was your specialty as a Marine?
I was a communications officer.
Right. Did you do a podcast as a Marine?
No podcast.
They probably don't allow that at all. And thank you for your service, by the way. We have several Marines that work for us at Gill Athletics, and it is, it's a different breed. And thank God for people like you. It's really needed, and I can't say thank you enough, honestly, because I know I can't do it.
Appreciate it.
So thank you so much. All right, what else? What other number? 1 through 100.
98.
All the way down here at the bottom. Where we're going, we don't need roads. You invented a time travel machine. How are you going to use it?
Wow.
I told you, off the wall, man. You don't know what's coming. I got 100 of these all night, so we'll see.
I think right now I would go back to myself this summer when I took on the job, and I think there's a lot of things that I've learned this past season coaching that I could
Just
probably,
in 6 months-ish.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. What's the one thing that you know now today in December that back in June you were like, oh man, if I had just known that?
That everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. It's a daunting role to take on, and it's something that I take very seriously. And that I think at the end of the day, it all worked out. It's all going to be okay.
I think we all need to hear that sometimes. Yeah. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and we get a lot of pressure from outside people. Kind of that deep breath, and you know what? It's going to be okay. It's going to work out the right way. Awesome. So what are you looking forward to most coming up here in the 2023 season?
Track season coming up. I've got a lot of young runners that are very eager and excited for the season. So I'm excited to see what they do in their track season, and we'll just kind of see where they go from there and their next steps on their college journey. See where they go.
I think they're going to do awesome because I think you're awesome, and I'm just so thankful that you're coaching track and field and cross country. It's immeasurable. I don't say this lightly, and I say it all the time, but it's very, very true for me. It's immeasurable the positive impact that coaches make on young people today. You're dealing in the high school sites of 14 to 18-year-olds. They need leadership. And what you provide for them is invaluable for the rest of the world, not just track and field, for literally the entire rest of the world, Jessica. So thank you so much for being a coach.
Thank you, Mike.
We're going to end it with a selfie first.
Okay.
No, we got to get that selfie in. All right, Jessica, thank you so much, and thanks for coming out. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, that's fascinating. I don't know that I said thank you enough for her being a Marine, because that's a big deal. Aaron, you want to know what her name and email is? Hey, text me or hit me up on Twitter at Mike Cunningham, or text me 217-898-3038, and I'll make sure that we get Jessica's name and email over to you, Aaron, okay? All right, you're in the hot seat, buddy. You don't know what's going on. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves.
Mark Biram, Director of Cross Country and Track at Iowa Western Community College in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
How'd you get to Council Bluff, Iowa?
I grew up about 35 miles away. Griswold, Iowa. Griswold, Iowa.
So I need to visit.
Yes.
Because I need to visit, for one.
100%.
So before Gill and after my coaching career, I actually was a professional poker player. And so I started back then, and still goes to today. I collect a poker chip from everywhere that I play poker. So I got them all framed up in the house. Number 376 was this past weekend. And I know Council Bluffs has some casinos that I ain't been to. I got like hit list of where I need to go. So I need to get out there. There's several. Yeah. No, there's not just one out there. I love that. Yeah. So tell me, Mark, how many years have you been coming to the convention, and what are you doing here? What are you looking forward to?
I think this is the fourth one I've been to. The networking, getting to see friends, and like especially the coaches that I only see when we come here, almost basically. But that part's fun, and then now being junior college, just helping the sophomores find homes, getting to network with the coaches and tell them about our kids.
I'm a former, I think we spoke briefly through Twitter, that I'm a former junior college coach. Also coached at, high school and Power 5. And the junior college route to me is still one of the most precious things. Like, I love going to the junior college national meet. It's just it's a different breed. Not only athletes, but also coaches. High school coaches will work their tail off to get their kids recruited. College coaches, 4-year college coaches, work their tail off to recruit kids to their program. You're doing both ends, buddy. This is the proverbial light candles at both ends, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's very misunderstood levels. I think we have Olympians. You have everything from each end. And that indoor meet that we're talking about, that's probably the most recruited track in the country.
Oh, yeah.
High school, college, it don't matter. It's the most recruited. Every coach, it's like the convention at an indoor meet.
Right.
It's pretty awesome. So I think, junior college level, it's misunderstood, and I think if people really, really look into it, there's some talented kids and opportunities to do some really, really good things moving forward future-wise.
Yeah. And Iowa Western has done it at a high level for a long time. Even all the way out there in Western Iowa, don't get it twisted. There's a lot of track going on in your neck of the woods.
For sure.
What are you most looking forward to here in the 2023 season?
Oh goodness, there's so much. There really is. Getting started. I think getting started is going to be is exciting. We have a full new staff. So I've been there. This is my 5th year there, but I'm the director of the program. This is the first year for that. I've been the assistant before, so we hired a whole new staff just to get them started and get the new kids going. We got a couple new kids coming in January just to get them part of the team and just get rolling. See where we're going to be.
That's awesome.
See if we can't defend the title or do something. I mean, it's hard to win. To do it more than once.
Winning is hard.
It's hard.
And I think we, especially maybe in track and field, I think we lose sight of that because we have, 100-meter dash winner and a relay winner and team winners, of course. And it's like, that's hard. I mean, there's only one person that gets to win. Yep. That's really tough.
And with the team stuff, there's so many pieces to it with all those different events. So a lot of things got to go right. And last year we were we were very lucky where a lot of things went right indoor for us on the women's side, and then women on outdoor too. Men did, and see if we can keep that rolling.
I love it, man. Well, you're a winner today because you get to play our fun little question game.
Come on,
it's 1 through 100. You get to pick the number.
78.
All right, we're going to go 78. Is there a significance about 78?
I was born in 78.
I love it. You're 2 years younger than me, you young whippersnapper. All right, real or fake? Who's your favorite WWE wrestler of all time? And I guess I shouldn't have wrote WWE because it could be NWA.
Well, it would
I
have
don't
been
remember.
WWF.
Yeah,
back then.
yeah, right?
When I
See, that's how old school we are.
So
It was WWF before they got sued by the
There's
Federal
so
Wildlife.
many. All the ones on the card
Who's
too.
your number one? You only, I know. You get to pick
Cartoon.
one. He's your
Oh,
or
Jimmy
she.
Superfly Snuka.
Wow.
He was fun.
He was fun.
He was fun.
Yeah.
I saw Hulk Hogan live.
Did you?
Yeah,
Really?
Omaha. He was the guy that spit the green stuff out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I can't think of that guy's name.
I know who you're talking.
Yeah.
Not Tonka, but I remember who you're
Yeah.
talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
That as a kid, that was cool too, and we all recreated it with
Yep.
our bottles of water
Oh, yeah.
and everything.
All
Yeah.
sorts of crazy.
So, Mark, to wrap up here today, there are going to be some number of people that are either watching us right now or live or going to listen to the podcast later on that are like on the fence of coming to the convention. This is your 4th, 5th this year. What would you say for someone who's on the fence of coming here to the convention, the USTFCCCA Convention?
Oh man, if you love track and field, this is the place.
Yeah.
At one time a year, you have the fittest hotel in the country. we went and worked out this morning, and you won't have that many people in that fitness room.
What time did you work out?
I went in about 7:30.
Yeah, I'm the 5 o'clock crew.
Oh,
I was there
sorry,
early, so all the coaches that were in there, and there weren't many, that was the diehards now.
That's too early for
All
all
right.
the networking at the nighttime.
At Wednesday, I'll be in there again at around 5 a.m. I want to see you in there early.
I don't.
I might need a spotter. I'm doing 10 sets of 10 on the incline dumbbell right now, so it's getting a little tough.
But-
All right, man. All right, let's get our selfie in here. Brother, I appreciate you being here on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Trusting me here on the live
Appreciate
version.
it.
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you,
man.
sir.
Hey, it's 5:30. Yeah, it's 5:30. We still got an hour and a half at least going on here on the live podcast. So we're going to see who our next guest is. They're being a little shy. I wish, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to give a little picture and show you what's going on right here at the live recording of the Gill Connections Podcast. I'm going to have this next guest introduce himself, but he doesn't need any introduction at all. Please introduce yourself, my friend.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Richard Bean, the head track and field cross-country coach at Alabama State University.
The Fighting Hornets. I love it. Scoot your chair in just a little bit so we can hear you, man. Richie, thanks for being here. You and I have certainly a business relationship that I'm extremely, extremely thankful for. But throughout that, and for the past few years, we've actually struck up quite a personal relationship. And, that doesn't happen very often in business and things like that. So you're just someone that I'm so, it's really cool to be able to tell people live right here now just how much I love you, I adore you and your family, and just so grateful for you, my friend.
Well, the feeling is mutual. It stretches beyond business. It started some years ago, and it's just grown over the years, just simple phone calls, checking in, and it's like my brother from another mother.
That's it, baby. I love it. So, Richie, tell us, how many years have you come here to the convention?
I know I've been attending ever since I became head coach. It was in 2000. Whenever the existence of it started.
Yeah.
And,
I'll say
I've
about
been
there,
coming,
yeah.
So I've been here, been enjoying it, met a lot of good people, and built a lot of great relationships from being here and learned a lot of things.
And what is there something you're looking forward to the most this week, whether it's a speaker or a meeting or Hall of Fame? If there's anything you're like, man, there's something I am definitely not going to miss, besides being here on the live taping of the Gill Connections Podcast.
But this is the biggest thing I was looking forward to because I get to do something with my friend.
That's right.
And that's one of the things. It's those personal relationships that you finally get a chance to meet some of your peers and sit down and talk business, but also just talk life and brotherhood and sisterhood within the ranks of track and field. Also, the other biggest thing that I look forward to coming here and get some rest, and a little bit of rest, and to recharge and refocus, and just being around the positive energy. But of course, the Hall of Fame is always big because it's just to see people who have laid the path for so many people in the sport. Just to see them be honored on that night,
Rightfully
something
so.
special.
Yeah. And this year's crew, every year is like the who's who, but I mean, this year another just amazing set of just deserved men and women that are going into the Hall of Fame. It really is quite amazing. All right, my friend, we're gonna play a little fun little 1 through 100 game. I got 100 just random questions, and trust me, they've been random. You get to pick the number though, 1 through 100.
So ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go with the number one.
Number one, 30 minutes or less. What topping is never going on your pizza?
Probably black olives.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
Did you like it in taco dip though?
Not at all.
You don't like olives at all?
No.
Okay, all right.
Not at all.
All right. You get one more.
Okay. Let's go with 45.
Is that the number of championship rings you have?
55.
That is the greatest flex that anybody will have here tonight. I'm going to go 55 in celebration. And here's the thing. Next year, we're going to have to do 56 or 57. And you just keep adding them on, my friend. You don't share. You're not a very good sharer with team championships, my friend. Not at all. Not at all. All right. Well, you must like food. On 55, let's go to the kitchen. You've got to make one meal to save your life. What is it?
I love wings.
Oh, yeah.
It's my happy food.
Oh, yeah.
So, save my life.
What are you doing? You got a smoker? Are you grilling
I'm
them?
smoking those bad boys.
Yeah.
I'm smoking. Low and slow.
What do you got? Is there a favorite flavor, like a barbecue or a jalapeno? Or what do you?
Well, it's all about the marinade to me. And once I do my marinade, you don't need sauce. You don't need it.
That's a good point. I like that.
Fingers.
Well, Richie, something that we're doing tonight as well, only for select people, and I blew it with Blake Bolden, by the way, earlier today, is any Gill Connections alum. So you were on the podcast. You were one of my first people on the podcast. Thank you for that trust, my friend.
Thank you.
And if you haven't checked it out, just go in your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. Just Google Richie Bean Gill Athletics. It'll pop right up. It'll make your life better listening to his story. His story matters, and it is a doozy. Trust me. But because I got to grill you for about 2 hours, you get to flip the script tonight and ask me one question. I'm putting myself out there. I don't want to give him any time to think, so we need to get a question.
I can ask you one question.
One question. There's no bleep button and no edit, so don't say anything that your mama would be mad at. But
Well,
one
my mama
question.
raised me right.
I know that.
The one thing I want to know about you is, what is the one thing that drives you the most?
Ooh. That answer might have been different 10 years ago, but about maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe about 10 years ago, actually. My life changed when I looked at my job here at Gill Athletics being from a salesperson to a servant of coaches. And that really flipped the switch of like, hey, you know what? When I stopped thinking that, hey, every piece of my equipment is for every coach. It's not. It's great to have choices. That's why we have different car companies, etc. We don't always have the solution for everybody, but for those people that we do have the solution for, instead of saying, "Hey, bye," it's like, "Hey, man, let's have a conversation."
Correct.
And I have consulted on your facility, which I'm so happy for you and your staff, man.
What
a deserving
flex.
facility.
That's your flex.
Yeah, that is my flex because it is an amazing facility. When we talked about your facility, we had a budget to keep, and so we went, lower featured benefits on some things, and other things was like, hey, no, my program is built on X, so we're going to go a little bit higher over here. We did a great design for the gate board. We just served. That's really what it was all about, and that drives me every day is to get up. These guys and gals that are out here and sit in this seat right here do something that is more valuable than anything out there in my world. They help 14 to 18-year-olds, 18 to 22-year-olds become better human beings, and that's better for our world, not just track and field. And so how do I help that coach get better and make more money for his family and his passion? How do I help this coach go and work a job where they can be there with their spouse, etc.? That's my passion. That drives me every single day when I wake up, my friend.
So I want to say something to you while we are here live.
Okay.
And I'm not just saying this. In the process of getting our track done and needing a overhaul on equipment, when he spoke about the budget, he understood the challenges we had in getting things done, but there was no, there's a big university, we got to do this and got to do that. The same customer service, the same detail and everything. I give this man kudos, his staff kudos. They were excellent in the process of us choosing, even from his design staff, for customizing our hurdles, customizing our mats, making sure that the delivery was on time, got there. I couldn't ask for any better customer service. And those people who are out there, customer service is a lost art.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say, not because this is my friend, but because Gill did good business and put customer service at the top.
Well, I stand on the shoulders of great people. Our customer service team. We talked about authenticity earlier tonight. Former coaches, former athletes. I do this much of the whole thing. There's a whole crew that does a lot more, and that means the world for you to say that, my friend.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Let's get a selfie to end this. Oh, my camera turned on. All right, Richie. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. And go check out his podcast. Go check him out at Richie Bean. Go on your podcast app or YouTube. Just search his name, and it's heartfelt. We
Go Hornets.
we got into it. Go Hornets. Thanks, Richie.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, one of my just dear time, all-time friends was Richie Bean, man. I just love it. What a great person. I can't wait to see who the next person is. We got another alum, so buckle up. We're going to get another question right back here at your humble host here. All right. You've been working out, so introduce yourself to the crowd here.
Greg Schmidt, head coach, cross-country track and field, University of Bridgeport. So brand new program. Mike, you're missing all the fun. This is where the fun is out front here. All the coaches talk to each other. I feel bad. I told you I was going to be here at like 4:55, but saw Gary Aldrich, saw Mike Sargent, and we just stopped and started talking.
You know what? Those are two good people, so I'll allow that. I'll allow that. Yeah, it's really hard to be focused right here on our audience and our guests, and all these amazing people that I'm just super excited. We said we're going to go 5 to 7, and I've made a promise to myself. If at 7 p.m. people are still here, I'm still here. We're going to roll with it, baby. I don't mind. Yeah. So tell me, what are you doing here at the convention? What are you looking forward to the most here this week?
For me, the thing I enjoy the most still is just, like I said, interacting with the coaches and doing things like that. I have committee meetings, starting a brand new D2 program from scratch, just getting the word out there and all. But, I actually enjoy the meetings because that's where we kind of grow our sport and get to know more about our sport. And while I like the symposiums and things like that, just interacting with the other coaches, I mean, you learn a lot more. You see how everybody's doing, and if you're a track coach or with the sport, you're fanatical about it.
Right.
So it's good to meet
You're
other
a
people.
track nerd about it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So it's good to just meet other people who have the same mindset as you and everything else.
So tell us a little bit now, and we got into this. So here we have another alum of the Gill Connections Podcast. So you just got to Google his name with Gill Athletics, and the podcast will pop up, or the YouTube. And we got into this, but I want just kind of a 30-second version of starting a new program from scratch, because that just, I feel like that's what I would have really enjoyed in the coaching world.
You say that and then you do it. But no, it is exciting, and I feel privileged that I'm the first. I'm the only first ever coach the university's ever going to have.
That's right.
So it's an exciting thing to do. It's a lot of recruiting and just getting the word out there. I think you saw I did a news report for our News 12 in Connecticut, just talking a little about the program. And the university's bought in, and they've been very supportive of it. So it's exciting, and I get to build it in my own model. And I love Division II track and field more than any division I've coached, just because I can do both things. So I can get those higher-end athletes that I would love to get to USAs or Olympic trials, things like that, but I can still get those other athletes that just want the opportunity in order to improve and reach their potential. So that's why I love it.
Well, I have no doubt that they're going to improve under you, my friend, just from talking with you and getting to know you better. All right, we're having a little fun tonight, so we've got 100 random questions. You get to pick the number.
100?
You want 100?
No, let's go 54. I was just
54. I was about to say, we've already had 100.
54 is my old football number, so let's go with that.
I was going to ask what the significance was. All right, 54. Let's go hunting for hobbies. What's your hobby, man? And you can't say coaching track and field.
Oh, no. That's
okay. All right.
I'm a huge
I make
comedy,
the rules.
I'm a huge comedy nerd.
Oh.
So I go to comedy clubs. I've written open mics. I've done various things. I've tried to do stand-up once in a while. Generally,
okay. So you can't say that without... You got to give us a joke or something. I know it's not a joke like a punchline joke, but there's got to be like...
people, their faces will turn red. It's
okay.
There's
no bleep button, no editing.
No,
here.
yeah,
Okay.
And it's not. I thought it was like
no, it's
Gill
live,
After Hours.
baby. These people right here.
I thought it was Gill After Hours.
Yeah. Don't give me ideas.
Oh, no,
we might have to do that.
So this is the podcast then where we eat the buffalo wings, then, right?
Yeah.
No, okay. But
I thought about trying something like that. You know me, man. This will keep evolving.
Yeah, but no. So we talked about it before. I'm a pretty open person.
Right.
I talk about my life quite a bit, and for me, if I do an open mic thing, it's about that. It's about the things that bother me, and that's why I love comedy.
Real world. Yeah.
Well, the good thing about comedy is you laugh about the things that hurt you, the things that I'm most serious about, that bother me the worst. When you make jokes and you joke about them and you mock them almost, it makes it easier to digest. And then you have the rest of the day to treat them as awful things. So For me, nothing is off limits in terms of comedy and things like that. So if you need to get personal, if you need to get a little bit raw, a little bit rough, that's a great thing to do. So I love comedy, even if it's something that, like me, I'm a big animal rights guy. I love animals. Yeah. But if I get to a club and the comedian makes a really funny animal cruelty joke, I'm going to laugh because I know that's something I really care about, and they're making me laugh.
Right. I got it. Hey, I don't know if that question comes up with anybody else will ever get that same hobby. That's really cool.
It's something I love. Like I said, I anytime something pops in my head that I think is a funny idea, I take out my phone in the notes program and I text myself and something like that.
That's cool. All right, so something that we're doing, and only Gill Athletics Connections alums get to do this is, so you were gracious, you were awesome on the podcast, so thankful that you would join us on that podcast, and I grilled you for close to 2 hours, right? You remember the experience, right? You probably went home and cried a little bit and had to, buckle yourself back up to get back on that horse. Now you get to flip it. You get to ask me one question.
Okay, what do you miss most about coaching?
That's a great question. I think the thing that I miss the most is there's some freedom in going outside at 2 o'clock every day to work with young people. There's just something about, not being in an office all the time. And I think maybe that's why I like to travel for my profession here at Gill Athletics, because I'm out of the office at that point. But there was something about just being, toes in the sand pit, helping people work on the long jump, now sprint jumps and hurdles. That's probably what I miss the most, the young people. For sure.
Well, I mean, you're doing a great thing here. We talked about it to a handful of the coaches as I was walking up, and then they said, "Where are you headed?" I said, "Oh, actually, I told Mike I would go and do the podcast with him." And everybody said the same thing. It's a great thing you're doing because, for me, I don't like the cynical podcast. Sometimes people take cynicism as intelligence, where they think if I can be really critical of coaches or athletes and things like that, it makes me sound smarter. Whereas you're highlighting the sport, you're highlighting the coaches, which I think is a great thing.
Yeah, well, it's all about uplifting and honoring what you do, because what you do is immeasurable for our young people.
And you can do it while you're dressed like Jake from State Farm. So,
I actually went with my Pat Henry.
Actually, yeah.
I was kind of hoping. I saw Pat this morning, and I was in my workout clothes, and he was like, "You look like you're going for a run," and I was like, "Oof, you don't know me, Pat. I'm just going to go work out."
I saw Lance Harder down there. Yeah. I saw those guys.
Yeah, I saw Lance in the airport last week. He was flying to Foot Locker Nationals, and in Dallas, he walked by, and I was like, "You just don't expect to see him in the airport."
Well, I made a joke because I think the podcast after mine was the Lynchburg guys, and I'm a Lynchburg alum, and sure enough, they're the next ones in line.
Right.
So,
that's funny.
Lynchburg guys, I guess, just migrate to one another. Actually, they were on the shuttle with me to go get cargo as I arrived in the airport. So
it's
one of next to each other the whole time.
It's one of the more unique mascots. So Hornet life forever.
Yeah, I forget the chant, but I'm sure it might have changed in the last 20-something years.
Let's get our selfie, man. Appreciate you so much for being on the show.
All right,
man.
Great to see you.
Appreciate you. Oh, man. Hey, I love when there's Gill Athletics Connections on. And there's one standing right in front of me that needs to get in here. You just got to push your way to the front. Just push your way. You just elbow. But, hey, here we go. Another Gill Athletics Connections alum. I'm allowing everybody else to introduce themselves instead of me doing it. So introduce yourself to the crowd here today.
Yeah, I'm Jim Sprecher. I'm the director of track and cross country at the University of Cincinnati.
And you're going to have to speak up a little bit. It's loud here. I mean, everything that you're hearing right now, this is what's going on all around us. It's quite amazing when you put a bunch of coaches together and how much we'll chat along here. So, Sprecher, tell me, how many years have you been coming to the convention, and what are you most looking forward to this week here at this year?
Well, I'm proud to say that I've been to every convention, and I just love coming here. I think Sam Seams and his group does a phenomenal job.
Shout out to Sam Seams and shout out to Sam's the crew, because love Sam, but he ain't doing this all by himself. He's got a great, amazing staff that supports us 365 days a year. Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to give a shout out to him.
Sam has really made this such a professional event, and everything from the Bowerman to our Coaches Hall of Fame banquet, of course, the wonderful symposiums. Getting you guys here, the industry out here to meet us,
absolutely,
and then obviously the fellowship and catching up with our friends.
Well, last year you spoke in the symposium. You were a teacher. Are you teaching this year, or?
Yeah, I've done it the last 2 years, and so this year I'm gonna let somebody else do it. But I enjoy attending those, and a lot of my friends are ones that are presenting, and so I always like to go to support them.
So if you could only, and I'm going to put you on the spot, if you could only go to one thing, not just symposium, but one thing, Hall of Fame dinner, Bowerman, see your buddies speak, go to a committee meeting, if you could only do one thing this week, what would it be?
Actually, the Coaches Hall of Fame. And big reason for that is a lot of my mentors, a lot of my friends, a lot of my colleagues and peers are all in it. And so,
I mean, really an amazing group. I mean, they're amazing every year, but this year, as I was reading through the list, I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're amazing.
Yeah. And that's great that they have an opportunity to be recognized and to be celebrated. And some of them have been retired and it's past due.
Right.
And then there's a lot of them that are still in their prime.
And
it just shows you that, we're really, really recognizing the people that put so much into this wonderful sport.
We're standing on their shoulders as coaches today and what they did, and now we're building it so future coaches can stand on these big old shoulders right here. All right, it's Mr. Sprecher here. We've got 100 questions, just kind of random fun questions. You get to pick the number 1 through 100.
44.
What's the significance of 44?
4 is my favorite number.
All right, you didn't want to go 4.
I could have gone 4.
Okay, all right. Well, this is a good one. It's Space Invaders time. What's your favorite video game of all time?
Let's see. It shows you how old I am.
Don't say Pong.
So I'm going to say that I can still remember when Pong, but no, I'm going to say Pac-Man.
Oh, classic.
That was a classic 80s game, and that's kind of, when I was a video game.
Have you guys purchased a Nintendo Switch?
I don't have anything like that.
So they've got a Pac-Man on there where you play against 99 other people in the world.
Okay.
It's awesome. You got to check it out. It was when we first bought our Switch. I was addicted. Now I'm addicted to Fortnite. Okay, hey, Sprecher. So another thing that we're doing, and this is exclusive, you're in a small club here, is any Gill Athletics Connections alums that are on the live podcast here tonight. Because I grilled you for a couple of hours. It was a long process to get through your whole story. It was very probably had to take a nap, I'm sure, after that. So I'm going to let you flip the script, and you get to ask me one question.
Okay. We're going to go back to our days at Ball State.
Oh, yes.
And I remember at Ball State, you had a collection of reptiles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So would you like to share it with everybody?
Yeah. I don't have them now because I'm married. My wife forbade me. But yes, I had. I grew up a huge snake fan. I moved a lot, and everywhere that I would move into a new school, the first thing I would do is go to the library and read all the snake books. I mean, this is before the internet. You remember those days. So I would read them all, right? And so when I finally got to college, when I was finally able to get my own reptile, I bought a ball python. All my snakes, by the way, were all named after herders. Who do you think? Skeets, the very first one. Bingo, exactly. The all-time. Now I'd have a Grant Holloway and a Trey and those kind of Niali. That's what I would name them after now. But I had a ball python. And then when I was coaching junior college, I just got so lucky. In Kansas, they had a big reptile, big snake collection that they were paring down to only snakes that were native to Kansas. All the other snakes they wanted to get rid of, and they knew I was a snake guy. So I got an 8-foot red tail boa. I got a little 1-foot Massasauga rattlesnake. I can't remember the other ones, but really, I loved my snakes. I really did. They were all, you couldn't pet the rattlesnake. The 8-footer had an attitude, so you couldn't pet him either. So, but I had a great time. And now my wife, she didn't say she'd divorce me, but I also kind of thought about calling her bluff. It's like, well, if I get a snake, what are you going to do? You ain't going to pick it up and get rid of it. They'll just be there. So, but we got this steal of a deal, a free 60-gallon fish tank. And there is a tank, a fish called the African rope fish, and it looks just like a snake. It has 2 little fins up front, but it's long, thick. They look just like snakes. It's scratched my snake fish. I'm good. I'm really good. Yeah, that's a good question, man. I love that. All right, my friend, let's take our selfie here today. Thank you again for being on the live show, man. Appreciate you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, man.
Everything you do.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Oh, man, Jim Sprecher, we worked together at Ball State University. He was the head men's coach. I was a women's assistant coach under the great Sue Parks over there, and just really had just an all-time blast there with lots of just great alumni and great times that we had there in track and field. And, I don't plan this, but we're going to have our 3rd Gill Athletics Connections podcast alum in a row. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Charles Ryan, Director of Track and Field at San Jose State University.
See, I appreciate you speaking up and into the mic. Some of them are, yeah. You got some experience with this.
I mean, we do this on occasion, every now and then.
So let's talk about that a little bit here.
Okay.
Very impressed. You're an OG because you got a new guy now with the governor. But the 4 originals, I'm so impressed with because I have experience with this. It's real easy actually it's hard, but it's easy to start a show.
Yes.
It's extremely hard to be going 3 years on.
You're as shocked as I am that we are still doing this thing. We started Athletics LLC, during the pandemic when people were looking for something to connect to, and honestly, we're a little bored and going a little stir crazy with, all this free time. And, it snowballed into something that people seem to care about and seem to be interested in, and we enjoy doing it. So as long as there's still interest, we're going to keep this train rolling. We haven't missed a show in 3 years. So
that is also impressive because, for one, the consistency is extremely hard, and it's weekly. It's not like you do this monthly.
Oh, yeah,
so
every
that's
week.
Super hard.
Every week.
And then when you think about the people that are involved. So Charles Ryan is here. By the way, new head coach, director of track and field at San Jose State University, which are doing really cool things and really good for our sport, by the way.
I appreciate
San Jose. So Charles is on there. Marissa Chu from TCU.
Yep.
Mike Holloway. Do I really have to tell you where he's from Florida? And then Chris Huffins. I don't know what he's doing there, but he's there. Yeah.
The executive producer, as we
oh my
refer
gosh!
to.
If y'all say EP one more time, I'm gonna throw up. But you got to check them out on every Friday night on YouTube. So right here, where you are right now on YouTube Live, check it out every Friday. When Marissa's on point, she's sometimes it's Saturday.
That's not always Chewy's fault.
No, that's true.
But it does get done.
I'll say at worst, it's 2% of the time. It doesn't.
That's right.
Friday, but it's amazing. So they have a video component, which they do an amazing job. Great intro and outro by the great Udon Sheik, who I've got a surprise coming up in 2023 with him. Oh yeah.
I like it.
They do an amazing job, and then we're so gracious, so humble. They allow us to take the audio version, so we just strip the audio from it, and we run it about 2 weeks later for people who don't want to watch on YouTube. But it's still, to me, there was so much valuable information getting kicked out.
Yeah.
It was like, how do I expand? How do I make more people be able to listen to the topics that you guys talk about?
No, it's been really fun, and we've always, most of the topics that we tackle, we discuss amongst ourselves and figure out, what we want to talk about. But we take, suggestions from the audience and, send us DMs and Instagram messages and all of that stuff. So it's really, it's us on the show, but we try to make it like it's about, the community, the larger community that cares about our sport. So if you got questions, if you got thoughts, there's things you want us to get into, send it our way. We'll do it.
And the easiest way to do that, if you don't know how to get a hold of these guys, just go to the YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
And right there in the comments. Marissa does a great job of reading those through. I've heard you comment about the comments. I mean, they actually do read them. That's another cool thing as far as that. No end in sight. There's no talk about.
No. There's
no one's
end
breaking
in
up
sight.
the band here.
No, there's no end in sight. Nobody has been offered any significant financial compensation to go off and do their own show or anything like that. So
I'm shocked. But okay, good.
No, we all really, really enjoy it. And, we were the governor, a.k.a. Kareem Street Thompson, had to replace me one day because my son was being born. And so he did a great job. And we're like, well, we just need to keep him in there. So it went from 4 to 5, and it's been that way, and it's going to stay that way. We all really enjoy doing it. We have moved mountains and all kind of things to get the show done weekly. At one point, we were in 4 different time zones throughout the world. That was fun. That was an interesting during the Olympics. That was crazy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, as impressed as I am as the consistency you guys have had, a special shout out to Mouse.
Yes.
Through the Olympics. So over there.
Through the Olympics, through World Championships.
Time zones, super tired. Oh, he was a little responsible for things. And never missed a show. And that's what I love about what you guys are doing there. You're showing a different part, a part that some people think they shouldn't be involved. They're like, oh, that's just big boy stuff or whatever over there, right? I love that you guys kind of pull that curtain back and like, hey, we're gonna bear it all, good and bad. We're gonna talk about it all.
Yeah, there's really no track and field or any other subject for that matter that's off limits. We don't really run from everything. We try to keep things current and up to date with whatever is going on within the culture and the sport. And like I said, people seem to enjoy it. So as long as there's an audience for it, we'll keep rocking it out.
That's right. That's a great point. So we didn't talk about this, but I do want to talk about just a little bit. Tell us about how you enjoying not being a head coach, because you've done that.
I have, yeah.
I think the program that you took over is of such historical significance. It's a different head coaching job. How has it been, and how are you enjoying it? Struggles? How's it going?
I'm having a ball with it. A lot of people thought that the resurrection of Speed City and all that other stuff, given the historical context and then canceling the program and what it's been in the 2010s was an impossible job. I never really saw it that way. I saw it as a huge opportunity. and I'm from the Bay Area, so
Right.
it's a little bit more special
It's a
for
little
me.
special, yeah.
I'm honored to be in the chair. I'm having a ball doing it. We had an incredible year 1 recruiting class. We set some program records last year. We sent 6 kids to regionals. We're trying to triple that, up for this upcoming year. We're just trying to, be relevant on the national level, because if you're going to do this job this way, that's the only way it's going to play. I have a fantastic staff. I was able to get, as I've said before, my number 1 draft picks at every position.
Yeah.
Ernie, TJ, and Charmaine are absolutely killing it for me.
It's great people.
And we're having a ball. It's mostly a California-centric team.
Yeah.
It's going to stay that way, but we do recruit all over the world and obviously out of state. It's coming together really nicely. And if the team's about 85% freshmen right now, so if the babies can run like adults,
we all know how that goes. By the way,
we're going to have a lot of noise to make this year if they can grow up fast.
Well, the
and
best
so we're having it.
compliment I can give you is I think they got the right person for the job.
Well, I appreciate that.
Just seeing what you've done in the first year and as you now evolve into the second year, they kudos to the administration for pulling the right lever here and getting.
Best administration I've ever worked for. Jeff Konya and his leadership team are phenomenal, from compliance all the way down. They have literally never told me no for anything I've asked, and they find answers, they find solutions. And when you're working for solutions-based people, you can get a lot of things accomplished.
Absolutely. Well, like I mentioned, almost said Chuck.
Chuck looks. Depends on how long you've known me. You know what I mean?
He's been on the Gill Athletics Connections podcast. So whatever app you use, just Google his name or search his name, I guess you would, in Gill Athletics. It'll pop right up. It's on YouTube as well. You were one of the OGs. I think you were one of the first.
I was one of the early ones. Yeah, for sure.
Real early.
Sure.
You might be. I haven't done this yet, but I've thought about doing a follow-up with certain people because your life has changed personally and professionally from that. So, but as an alum of the Gill Athletics Connections podcast, we're allowing only alums. I grilled you for a good 2 hours. It was during COVID.
Sure.
I remember you in the apartment. And
it was fun.
We get to flip the script tonight. You get to ask me one question, and only one question.
One question.
No holds barred. There's no
the
edit button or anything, though. So,
no, honestly, I would like to know, as a person who jumped into this podcast space and obviously have crushed it, what's that experience like been for you? Like, what has been the best part of? To me, I see what you do as a give back to the sport. So what's been the best piece of this for you?
Yeah, something that's happened that I wasn't aware that would happen is, I interview these coaches of all different levels, right? Yeah. So from Division I, professional, high school, club, just all the gamut, guys, gals, black, white, Asian, all around, right? And I knew focusing on their journey would be pretty cool. Like, how did they go to this one place? Why did they go to this one place? What mentors poured into them? I did not expect that as on the business side, as a track and field manufacturer, that I would get much or any things that would help me. And there were a couple of ones, and I'll tell you one that really stuck out early is when I interviewed Brooks Johnson.
Oh, sure.
And which was very nerve-wracking for me because, several reasons.
It was nerve-wracking when we did it as well.
Yeah,
it's all
that's
good.
Right. Yeah.
Shout out to Brooks. We love Brooks.
Brooks.
But yes, Brooks is an interesting interview for sure.
But love him. And what a godsend that we have him here on this earth in track and field. But he really talked about how he thinks about coaching. Not that he's not a sprint coach, he's not a distance coach, and just the general, and how you have to not have limitations. Because we brought up the high jump men's world record, and I was like, "Well, do you ever? It's not going to get broken." He's like, "Of course it is." He's like, "That's what they said before he jumped it." And so just the thought process that he and company really changed me. And then he brought in a quote again that really changed me in regards to helping not judge other people. He brought up George Williams' quote of, "If you're not in the huddle, you don't know the play."
Indeed.
And so it was awesome to go get George Williams on the podcast and hear the man say it. Yeah. And just that, when I think about judging people for whatever reason, oh man, I can't believe they didn't choose Gill equipment, or I can't believe my kid did that. It's oh, you know what? I don't know what's going on. I don't know. So
very true.
So it helps me how do I meet you where you are today, knowing that I don't know everything that's going on here today, and you may jump at me for some reason. Yeah, I've had coaches jump at me, and I used to get defensive, and now it's oh, maybe something happened. Maybe something's going on personally. Maybe they just lost a recruit. It doesn't excuse what they did, but it helps me to not judge them. So that's what I've gotten out of it, man. It's been an amazing journey.
Well, listen, we appreciate everything you're doing, man. You're doing a hell of a job. You keep yours going, we're gonna keep ours going. Everybody, we're in this.
I love it, baby. Let's get a selfie to end this, man. Thank you so much. Awesome, man. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate you, brother.
Have a good night, man.
Bye-bye. One day I'm gonna get an invite onto the.
Anytime.
No, not anytime. I know that's not true.
Literally.
Oh man, that's a lot of fun. I really do love alumni of the podcast that come on here. Now, this guy's not an alumni. He's barely an alumni of a school. He's that young and green in this world. Introduce yourself here, Jake.
So my name is Jake Dagenshine. I'm the throws coach and recruiting coordinator right now at the University of Lynchburg in Central Virginia.
Now, how many years or how many conventions have you come to here?
This is my second convention, so last year was my first.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
so
where we first met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. Year 2 in college coaching. Been doing coaching as a whole for 4.5 years. I did some high school coaching while I was still in college. So.
And how different, as you approach this week, how different are you approaching it than last week when you were green and, probably wide-eyed and like, oh my God, everybody's here and there's so many things I can do on the schedule. How are you approaching it differently this year?
I really think that the biggest thing that I've been trying to do and to approach differently is just taking in as much information as possible, meeting as many people as possible, taking everything kind of day by day and taking each experience as its own.
Mm-hmm. And what are you, maybe you did this last year, but is there anything that when you looked at the schedule, you highlighted double, like you highlighted in circle, like I am not missing this? What that might have been?
For the convention? Mm-hmm. Probably Sean Denard's speech, his symposium when he was talking about, I think, if I remember correctly, it was like neuromuscular adaptations in throwers.
Okay.
Coming from Olympic weightlifting, because that's a huge part of what I do. So I also do a lot of the strength and conditioning programming for our throwers. Okay. So getting an opportunity to kind of hear him speak about that and take what he talked about, translate to what I do for our program and everything like that to help our kids build up. So that was the big one. This year, I think Don Babbitt's symposium is going to be a big one.
Come on, hashtag legend, brother.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Yeah. What's he speaking of? You know what his topic is?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I should probably know that, right? It is double highlighted.
But who cares?
Yeah.
If Don Babbitt is on the schedule and he's going to talk about tic-tac-toe strategies, well, I'm going to go learn how to play tic-tac-toe. If Don talks, he's one of the people, Lou Schexnayder is one that it's like, oh, they're talking? All right, well, I'm just going to go because I'll learn something.
Yeah. You know when the greats are speaking, because as soon as they start talking, everyone else is dead silent. They're writing things down. Yep.
Yeah. To give a little bit of a preview, so season 4 of the Gill Connections Podcast starts on January 2nd this year, and we're kicking off season 4 with Dan Paff.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
And as we were getting ready to interview Dan a month or so ago, another coach, I don't know if he wants me to tell a story, so I won't name him, but he said, hey, here's my Dan Paff story. He was speaking, and this was recently. This coach has been coaching for a long time now. This ain't no rookie like you, Jake. He said, all I did was just sit there and write, like I was front row. And I've been coaching for 30 years, and I just sat there in the front row. And he goes, and I remember the very last thing I just wrote, I am so dumb. Because Dan is so smart.
Oh, yeah, he's so knowledgeable.
Well, Jake, so we're going to have a little fun here today. I've got 100, don't be cheating. I got 100 random questions. And, you guys that are out there in live world, you know how random these are. 1 through 100, you get to pick the number that we're going to ask you.
Let's go 52.
What's the significance of 52?
That was my first football number back in Kiwi football. Yeah.
Let's get Tron, man. If you could be in any video game, which one would it be? Like you in it, man. Like you attacking Donkey Kong or something.
Yeah.
Like what game would you be in? Man, remember Tron? They were in the game. Yeah.
That's a tough one. Right now, probably God of War, because I'm not a huge gamer, but I've been seeing all the videos on that, and that looks so intense.
God of War.
But that game looks really intense.
Would you be, I think Kratos is the name, would you be him?
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool.
The big monsters and stuff. Okay.
No, being Kratos would be so cool. Just having the power and being that big buff guy and everything would be so much fun.
I just want the tattoos that he has.
He's got the cool. He rocks the bald head with the nice
beard.
The
beard. Yeah. All right, you get one more question.
Let's go 63.
What's the significance of 63?
First number I could think of.
All right, man, let's talk about some chill time. You're back in high school. Yep. There's no sports practice after school. What are you doing and with whom just to chill?
Probably not the most chill activity, but working out.
Yeah.
Honestly, just something about it so relaxing and having that set goal, pop the headphones in and everything like that. Listening to, I'm a big rock fan, so always rock. Big AC/DC fan.
Yeah.
So blaring that and just going after a really hard lift, having a lot of fun with that, and friends tag along, that kind of thing is always good times.
Well, wrap us up here, man. What are you looking forward to the most in the 2023 season?
Oh, geez, probably just overall the experience with the athletes and everything like that, and watching them grow and develop. That's been the biggest thing I learned in year 1 was just everything you can do to help the kids get better, help them grow, develop athletically, personally, in everything that they're doing. And seeing the growth that they made from last year to this year was incredible, and seeing what they're going to do in the 2023 season is going to be even better.
You know, I just hope for you, and I just know, because I know it's going to be true, just a long, satisfying career, man. You know, it's great. I remember my first, couple of years coaching, and just, it's everything. It's all consuming, man. And you got to know, you got to think long term, man. I saw the greatest thing on Twitter of all places, of course. I can't remember who it was, and I'm so sorry. I want to say it was Brett Bartholomew, I think is his name. I think he's the one that said it. But he talked about just like you periodization and stuff for your athletes, periodize your career. Like, think about what you're doing there, because I think you've got the things up here and in here to have a long career. We just can't have you burnt out and be done at 30, 35. All right, man, let's take our selfie.
All right.
Thanks for being on the live Gill Athletics Connections podcast right here at the
Mike.
USTFCCA 2022 Convention. And you're still here online. That's quite amazing. We're going to see who's coming up next. I don't recognize, but we're going to see what's going on here. And we're going to have a lot of fun as we continue here in Denver, Colorado at the USTFCCCA Convention. I almost said winter meeting convention here in 2022. All right, I'm letting everybody introduce themselves. Go ahead and introduce yourself here, Chris.
Okay, I'm Chris Reed. I'm at Seattle Pacific University, and I'm a regular here at the convention. So,
Well, you jumping ahead on my questions, Chris.
I'm sorry.
Let's first take a step back at Seattle Pacific, which Seattle is gorgeous, by the way. What did I just hear? Someone was there for the Division II meet, and they told me about something that I really got to check out. Now I don't remember what it is. It was a museum. So like a really cool.
It's got
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It's got to be MoPop, the Museum of Pop History, and
That's
it is
what it was.
incredible. Yeah,
He was my friend from Emory Riddle, actually. He told me about it. There was a Nirvana room and a Pearl Jam room.
And I think Bill Gates put a lot of money towards that, and I think Eddie Vedder did contribute, and so they made sure he got his own room.
Cool.
And,
Well, what I was really getting at, what do you coach there at Seattle Pacific?
I'm mainly our distance coach. I'm associate head coach there, and obviously dabble in other stuff when needed, but primarily distance.
Coach doesn't come with just one alley. It's
It's
a lot of hats.
Yeah, I'm a track coach that specializes in distance.
There you go.
That's right.
I love it. So you said you're a convention regular. How many years have you been coming here?
This is my 7th year. So it's been pretty involved in committees and a lot of things. So it's been when I think about this podcast, Coaches Connection, it just feels like an extension of what we do here,
Right?
So it's a community and a lot of collaboration, sharing ideas. It's great.
I actually kind of wonder. I mean, I kind of know where I got the idea for it and what I wanted to do for it, but I wonder, because this is my Super Bowl. And I love going to the NCAA championships, and that is amazing. They are phenomenal. But to me, this is my week, man.
I know.
And I wonder, if there's something subconsciously that's what helped me, because I actually started this before COVID. I was a pre-COVID podcaster, so I wonder if there's something kind of subconsciously there. So tell me, you've got it down. You've been here 7 years. You got it down locked. You got the schedule, and you got to work your time. What are you looking forward to the most this week?
I always look forward to a lot of our committee work. These committees are. I'm on Division II Executive Committee and serve as vice president for that committee. And so there's a lot of really interesting legislation that we're talking about right now, some proposals, and that's just a really hardworking group. It's thankless work in many ways. It's conference calls every month, but then this is our time to be like, okay, we're together, we're in a room, and it's just people who are very invested in the sport. I obviously. One of my highlights, obviously Bowerman, you can't go wrong with that. But the Coaches Hall of Fame is a big deal for me, especially as a younger coach. I'm in my 30s and looking at and being inspired by these coaches who have done these amazing things.
People.
And not all of them at big Power 5 schools either. Some of the best coaches are coaching at high school, or they're coaching at smaller schools. And so for me, when I'm thinking about where my career is going and it just gives me so much hope in like what is possible in this profession. So I know I just listed basically everything about convention.
You missed like 100 things actually. Come on, man. There's a lot more going on here. Well, hey, I really do appreciate your working on the committee, right? Because not everybody wants to do that and things like that. So it is a service. It's an extra thing. You don't get paid. I'm assuming you don't get paid extra for it. That's what I thought. So. So it's extra hours while you're still trying to be a family man. You're married, etc. Plus coach. So I do appreciate that. And to award you, I've got some random questions here.
Awesome. Hey, random questions. Let's do it.
They are off the wall random here. So 1 through 100, you get to pick the number.
38.
Why 38?
Why 38? This is gonna. in high school, we had what were called red numbers, like red number 5, like Star Wars X-Wing fighters.
Okay.
Before every race, we would check in. Red 38 standing by.
Cool.
So
you were red 38?
I was red 38.
I love it.
Back in high school. Plymouth Union, go Pelicans.
Hey, as a former poker player, I tell you, you should always bet on the red 38 on the roulette machine.
Okay.
Actually, the real advice would be don't play roulette. It's
of course.
not a good game. All right, well, number 38 here. This is perfect for what we were just talking about earlier. It's cha-cha time. What's your favorite music artist and song?
Favorite music artist and song. My favorite band right now is the War on Drugs. They're a band out of Philly. They're incredible, very layered. Adam, their lead guy, is an incredible musician. Favorite song. Gosh, I'm much more of an album guy.
Yeah,
I'm a vinyl guy. Over 100 vinyls, and so more of an album person.
Yeah.
So speaking of songs, it's tough.
One song that you get put on repeat 100 times, so you better like it. What's the one song you got going on here? Like, what's your favorite War on Drugs song?
Yeah, my favorite War on Drugs song would be it's their last song, In Reverse. It's called In Reverse.
I love it.
It's their last song on their third album.
So I'm a Christian hip hop fan almost exclusively, and then rap on top of that. But I'm gonna go listen to War on Drugs In Reverse. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
Listen to that album. It's great. So.
No, I'm not gonna do an album. I'm just gonna listen to one song. That's great, man. So we got a song recommendation as well. I love it, man. Well, Chris, thank you so much for being here, man. Let's get ourselves into it.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks for being on the live podcast right here at the USTFCCA Convention, man.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate
Take care.
You, yes, sir. All right, the crowd is thinning. I think I scared everybody off by saying that we were going to go to 7, and that was it. But I'm going to go on. If you're going to be here, I'm going to be here, and they're going to be here. We're going to keep going on here. So we'll see where it goes and what happens here on the live taping of the Gill Athletics Track and Field Connections podcast. All right, we got our next person in the hot seat. Go ahead and move up here for me.
All right.
And introduce yourself.
My name is Coach Cage. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Head coach, girls coach at Westlake High School.
Jason, you did something today that I was very impressed with, my friend. So I'm a huge social media guy, as you know. Right. You can always catch me on Twitter at Mike Cunningham. It's that easy. And Jason here today said, hey, because he's out here at the convention. He's a high school coach. There's only a few of you here. I shouldn't say few, but you're the minority in relation to college coaches here. He put on Twitter, he goes, hey, if any of you college coaches want to learn more about Westlake High School and our athletes, here's where I'm going to be between 5 and 7 p.m. Come check it out. I thought that was very intelligent, my friend. Where does that come from? Because no one else did it, and there's other opportunities for me. Every college coach should have said, hey, any high school coach here at the convention, I'm going to be right here if you want to talk. No one did that. Where does that little ingenuity come from for you, Jason?
Well, coaching, man, I'm just all about the kids, putting them out there. I make a lot of my connections, scholarships by attending conventions like these. Actually, this is my first time at this kind of convention.
Welcome, man. Yeah.
I just wanted to come out here and meet a new set of coaches, put our kids, advertise our kids, because we have a lot of talent in Georgia and even in the southern region.
Will you be at the Georgia clinic over in Rome, Georgia?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll be there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's make sure we hook up there. Awesome. So as you were planning, this is your first time here at the USTFCCCA Convention. It's a big schedule, right? There's a lot of different things you can do. Right. What was some of the things that you circled like, man, I ain't missing this?
For me, I'm going to the nuts and bolts breakdown, just learning from a head coach perspective of how to get better running in meets, get better running your organization of your team. So that's one I really circled. It's ran by one of the coaches at University of Tennessee, so I'm going to head to that one.
Good. Now put that hand back up, because we're an audio only podcast. That ring is about as big as this hand, for crying out loud. You show that off at all times, man. Ain't gonna be no shame in that thing. Exactly. Well, Jason, we got kind of having fun here tonight. Just laid back, the live version here of the Gill Athletics Connections podcast. So I've got, don't be cheating on my, it's a homework now.
All right.
I've got a random 100 questions. You get to pick the number of which question is yours.
Okay.
1 through 100.
Let's go with number 1.
I love it, man.
Number 1.
We've had this one. This one was a good one. Let's see what your answer here is. Number 1, 30 minutes or less. What topping is never going on your pizza, my friend?
What topping? That would be black olives. I hate the taste.
That was the answer before. Do you just not like olives at all, or just on pizza?
Olives at all.
Yeah. That's funny. That's so far 2 2 in a row. That's the question. The answer.
Yeah.
No olives, man.
Taste, man. You know, I'm from down south, so I just like pepperoni, chicken wings, you know, things like that.
Hey, I'm from Alabama. I know it, man. Trust me. I'm with it.
Iron Bone.
I'm with, you know, I went to the greatest university in the world.
Which one is that?
I went to Troy University.
Okay.
My son's name is Troy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and my teammate over here, this guy right here in the black shirt, he went to Coastal Carolina, and we just whooped their butt in the conference championship game. So,
congratulations.
I'm having a good year.
Gotcha.
I'm having a good year. Yeah. So, Jason, as we round out tonight, tell us what's got you most excited. What are you looking forward to the most in 2023 with your track and field team?
Oh man, looking towards a lot, man. Last year we hosted Christian Coleman Invitational.
Yeah, that's right.
2 state records were broken. Buford boys broke the 4x1 record.
Wow.
Our girls ran number 1 time.
What they run? They ran fast.
And they ran 40.03.
Yeah. I thought it was real close to that 40. Which is it still only one high school that's broken 40?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. It's another high school. I think it may be Fort Bend Marshall. They broke 39 high.
Okay.
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, yeah. When I was in high school, way back in the day, I remember there was one high school that did it, and I couldn't even guess who the guys are on the team. I could see the names.
Texas. Somebody in Texas.
And it was like, man, breaking 40 seconds, like that's a big deal in college, by the way.
Right.
High schoolers get out of here. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So what else are you looking forward to? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Oh, so just looking forward to the track meets, man. Last year, we hosted the Christian Coleman Invitational. We had over 4,000 people there. This year, we're hosting the AJ Terrell Invitational. We're hoping for a big crowd there. So just putting the kids, exposing the kids, giving scholarships for not only Westlake athletes, but other athletes.
Awesome.
So I'm out here inviting coaches to our meets. Met a couple of them. They're going to come. So just to put Georgia on the map.
Well, Jason, man, I love the hustle, and I love the unique hustle. I mean, really, when you tweeted that today, I was like genius. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm going to steal eventually on Twitter, and I'll figure out how to make it in my own way, man. I love it, man. I thought it was a great job. Shows a lot about your intelligence and character, my friend. Let's get a selfie to end it here tonight.
All right. Mike, first time meeting him.
I love it, baby. Appreciate you, brother. I'll see you in like a month or so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We named this. Yeah. Oh, if you want to get on, I want you on. All right, Harry. Love you, brother. We're going to keep going. If there's people still waiting at 7, I'm going to keep going. All right, check in. All right. Yeah. I'll be here tomorrow. Yep. We named the podcast the Connections Podcast for a reason, man. I love connecting with people and new people, and we got another new person here today. I love it. Introduce yourself here, my friend.
My name is Alex Klein. I'm an assistant coach at Middle Tennessee State University.
I love it. Alex, come a little closer for me here.
All right.
So you're at Middle Tennessee State University, so I have to admit something. I do, I've done this podcast. We're getting started in our 4th season in January. And there is a rhyme and reason to the guests that we have on the podcast, but I do feel sometimes a little bit of a responsibility to interview coaches that may not be around for very long. And that regret hit me a little bit with my dear friend Dean Hayes over this past year. And his story is amazing. And I kind of kicked myself of not being able to capture that for other people, for posterity reasons, man. Love Dean with all my heart.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, he built this program to where it is. I wouldn't have a job if he didn't build the program to where it is. And he left a great legacy behind. It was big shoes for me to fill to come in. And if I can be half the coach and leave half the legacy behind, that means I'll have done a terrific job.
Amen. And Alex, in an unenviable position, you talked about filling his shoes. You don't fill his shoes. You fill your shoes and you build your own legacy, knowing that you have the experience and joy of having known and watched him do his craft. So I just wanted to say that to you there, Alex, for that. So Alex, so shout out to Dean Hayes, man. Love Dean to death and miss him dearly. I was a young coach at Troy University and would see Dean all the time. He was always a selfless man. That's the best compliment I can give him. So Alex, tell us about the convention. How many years have you gone to the convention here?
So this is my first year at the convention. It's my first year as a coach. So
right, okay. So you're a smart guy. You looked at the schedule before you got here, and it's a long schedule. What's 1 or 2 things that you circled that you were like, there's no way I'm missing this?
So I'm going to butcher the exact name of the seminar, but it was the one for rookie head coaches and assistant coaches and kind of what it takes to become a head coach. Obviously, I'm still young. I'm new to the coaching profession, but at the end of the day, that's the ultimate goal. That's the dream, is to be able to have a program of your own. And,
Right.
You know, everything I can learn at this point that'll help me in the future. It doesn't matter how far away it is.
Do you remember who's given that or who gave that?
I do not.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you got the knowledge. That's the most important part. Well, Alex, we're having a little fun here tonight. I've got 100 random questions, and they're random, my friend. They're 1 through 100. You get to pick the number of what question you get tonight.
I'll go 23 for my age.
See, all of us old people from the Midwest went, oh, Jordan, and you went your age. I love it. 23. You remember where you were at 23? I try not to remember that. You're at halftime. I'm 46. I'm exactly double your age, my friends. It only gets worse, just so you're aware. All right, man. 23. Get out of my kitchen, man. What's your least favorite food or ingredient?
My mom is gonna kill me.
We're live and it's recorded. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Vegetables, anything, especially the greens.
I thought you were going to say like something your mama made.
Oh no, my mom is a terrific cook, and I cannot wait to go home to have mama's cooking. But
I thought mom was going to call right now and cut the show off.
but she knows just a little bit of vegetables, just the bare minimum.
All right. So what are you a meat guy, potato guy?
Oh, she calls me the carb king. Pasta, potatoes, bread.
I love it. Well, Alex, tell us what's got you most excited. What are you looking forward to the most in this 2023 season upcoming?
Just to be able to, new experience, new school, new athletes, and trying to see how far they've come. We had a great fall training, made a lot of progress, and I think the kids are ready, and I know I'm ready to put that to fruition, to see all the hard work they put in.
Well, you never get another first year, so enjoy it. Give yourself a break, meaning you're going to make mistakes. There's lots of coaches here who have been 20, 30 years, and they're making mistakes. You're human. So give yourself a break and just know that it's going to work out. You're doing a great job, man.
Thank you. You learn from your mistakes. So
Absolutely. All right, well, let's take a selfie.
Let's do it.
And I appreciate you coming on the live recording of the Gill Athletics Connections podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate you, brother. How precious, man. I remember my first year, and golly, boy, did I make some mistakes. They say, he brought up a good thing. He talked about you learn from your mistakes. Well, if that was true, I would be a genius. But I don't think that's always necessarily true with this guy here. All right, this next guest is going to be a hoot. He better not disappoint just because we're recording, because I met this guest, and he had me cracking up. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Malik Bryan. I'm the throws coach at Marion Military Institute in Marion, Alabama.
And you threatened me this morning that you wanted to beat my butt in Fortnite.
I said we can play together, as one, conquer some of them, we gotta get that XP up, we gotta, I paid a lot of money for that battle pass, I gotta get my $13 worth,
So Malik, tell me, this is your first year at the convention. Tell me, you're a smart guy. The schedule's long, right? And you had to have circled some things, one or two things that you're like, there's no way I'm missing this. What were some of those things that are not missed for you this week?
It's actually going to be, I think it's around the last event by Coach Taylor.
Okay.
At BYU, doing with mental health, What definitely got me was that I listened to the interview that y'all did and, learned about her story and and I feel like that is going to be a great one just because if I can get that information now as a young coach, I can have that, and then she can possibly say some things that can help me help my student athletes as well,
Right. Hey, way not to put yourself in a box there. Yeah. So you hit the nail on the head there. Maybe some generalization that, younger coaches don't think about mental health until later in their career. They think about the X's and O's and the techniques and networking, things like that. And also as a throws coach, you're going to go listen to a distance coach. Another kind of generalization here, but I'm going to listen to Don Babbitt or whoever, or Art Benavides. But a distance coach, what is she going to talk to me about? That's really good, man.
And, I'm going to big range of everything. I want to be versatile because, as you know, when we interview Coach Valentine, we're starting program, you never know when I might have to coach a jumper, So instead of saying, they can't say, Coach, I can't show it to them.
Right.
So I got to have my information down pat. I'm not I'm already, sore from trying to live with my kids, show them I still got it a little bit, so,
You're as a young coach, you're a little wise beyond your years, my friend. What's awesome is that layer, so that will continue on, man. That's really good.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see how wise you are. I've got 100 random questions here.
Okay.
It's 1 through 100. You get to pick the number.
All right, 64.
All right, what's the significance of 64?
That was just my random football number in high school.
Football number. All right, man, let's talk about pet peeves.
Okay.
What's your biggest pet peeve in life?
It's tough.
Because you have so many? You're like, how do I narrow it down to just the biggest?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
What's something that I'm a family guy, right? So he used to have the thing. This grinds my gear. What grinds your gears?
Yeah. What grinds my gears?
Is it people that ask you a question and just won't shut up and keep making you ask the question?
You know what my pet peeve is?
I hear this.
All right, my face. I don't like when people assume I'm angry. When like James Harrison, the football player for the Steelers, he always look mean.
Sure.
Everybody, you all right? Yeah. Like, do you know I'm listening? Look, I'm listening to some Katy Perry right now in my headphones. All right, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm listening to some music, but on the outside, I might just be, So that's definitely a pet peeve because I get it a lot.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing there. Something I've worked on, not judging. So that's a judgment, right? It's like, oh, here's this guy's big, whatever, all the things that go with that. I'm trying to do even better. Just like, hey, man, until that person proves to me that they're a bad person or angry, they're human. And by the way, you are human. You're allowed to be angry. You know that. You can be upset.
That's why I think that's a good thing about track. It's a lot of different people, different places. I mean, everybody dressing different. And it's I definitely, when I just fully decided I wanted to go coaching, I was like, the only way I would be somewhere if they can accept me for me. I got the self-piercing, I got the locks, the nose rings, tattoos. I
that's
still
important.
got the country accent. I say how y'all doing a lot. Something like that. So I gotta, if that's definitely. When I said, okay, this is the right thing for me, this is the right career choice for me.
That's important. We talk about when we recruit athletes, finding the right fit. Well, it's also important for the coach to find the right fit in a university or high school setting that they're going to accept you for who you are. Because again, you're an individual, unique person. So unless you want to change, you should find people that accept you for who you are.
I feel like that's how success is built. Of course, it could be, training and all that stuff. But I feel like this is one of those things where there's somebody in your life you're going to go above and beyond for just because of what y'all went through or something like that. And I feel like once you get to that relationship with a student athlete, that's when I wasn't expecting them to do that.
Happen.
That's when they say I have to do this. And that's how it was for me. With Coach Amin, and then I had Coach Matt Thallis. They definitely. I wasn't the best student athlete. I wasn't the best student, but they gave me time to actually get right. And do everything I need to do, and that definitely helped me a lot. So that's why I'm happy with developing athletes. Because development is key. That's going to go on way after they. Some of these kids. I saw their GPAs. I'm like, hey, I never touched that. This about to be a lawyer, doctor, or something. They don't have those type of skills. So.
Well, Malik, it's going to be real fun to watch your development, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You're still so early. You're barely at the starting line of a career. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a great journey. I just know it, man.
I'm definitely excited.
Awesome, man. Let's get our selfie in here, man. I appreciate you very much for being here on the podcast. Trusting me here with the live recording.
He said Fortnite.
We go Fortnite somehow, some way.
Okay,
we get it done.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, Malik. Appreciate you, brother.
Have a good day.
I literally met Malik this morning down, actually kind of afternoon, right before lunch, down in the lobby. And just what a great character, what a great, just bubbly person. That's the kind of guy that I'd want my kid to be coached by, man. All right, hey, let's have you introduce yourself. Sorry, after a couple of these, it gets a little, where am I at? Who am I talking to?
I can imagine that very well.
Well, introduce yourself here, Mike.
All right. Mike Roslina. I'm the head track and cross-country coach at Embry-Riddle University in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay, I was going to say, because there's two Embry-Riddles, right? Let's make sure
correct.
We know you're the Florida one.
I'm the Florida one.
Is Florida the real one?
Yes. No. Florida is we're a bigger campus. So there's two of us. There's one in Arizona, one in Florida.
Are they connected? Are they like sister schools?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We actually have a third campus, which is our worldwide campus, is more of our online presence as well. So
Well,
and then the Arizona one's NAIA.
Yeah, okay.
And then we're NCAA Division II, about 3 times the size. So
yeah, got it. So tell me, how many years have you been coming to convention now?
Forever.
Yeah, okay, that's a great answer.
It's probably at least 8 to 10.
So as an expert in the convention, what is, when you were looking at this week, and I know you guys are smart, you kind of plan out your week. There's some can't miss topics or events. What was your 1 or 2, just like, there's no way, no matter what happens, I got to make this?
Well, I mean, number one, you got to make the Mondo party.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's number 1.
100%.
Bowerman, number 2.
Yeah.
You got to go to the parties.
Yep.
For me, I'm on like 3 committees. So 90% of my time here, I think, spent in meetings and the not fun part.
Yeah.
So, trying to get to a couple of symposiums just to kind of hear some things.
But is the meetings for those, the executive committee meetings and things like that, you said the not fun part, but what side is, so then why do it? Let me ask it that way. It's not fun, kind of self-admit there. Then why do it?
It's maybe not necessarily the fun part, but it's the most important part. It's making a difference in our sport, trying to grow our sport, trying to make it better.
Yeah.
What are the things that we can do to fine-tune things to make it better for our student athletes, to have a great student athlete experience. But also to try to make it the most competitive environment we can, and also be able to market it. Like, how are we going to market it to make track and field bigger and better, and things like what you're doing, like having podcasts out there, so people around the world hear about us, know about it, know what we're doing, and know that we're producing quality product at all levels. And how do we let people know how good of an experience we're having, and what difference making we can in this sport.
Well, I appreciate you doing it, because I know it's not always the fun part, but it is shaping our sport. It is important, and you don't get paid extra. It's more hours. So I do appreciate that. And while that might not be the most fun thing in the world, this is right here. So I've got 100 random questions numbered 1 through 100. You get to pick the number.
My favorite number is 2, so that's what I always go with. But my boy Chris Reed told me I should pick 38. I don't know.
Okay, let's do 38. We'll do both. No, we're going to do both. All right, let's do number 2 is your favorite number. Let's start there.
Let's go number 2.
So number 2, 88 miles per hour. You invented time travel. What are the rules? What's your time travel rules?
Invented time travel. Got to have rules.
Yeah, what's your rules? Doc Brown, he had rules. Marvel Universe has their own rules. What's your number 1 rule if you're going to be a time traveler?
Just don't screw it up.
You know what? I love simple rules.
Simple rules.
Don't screw it up.
I'm kind of that way with my team. We don't have a lot of team rules. It's there's expectations and there's things. Hey, enjoy yourself. Go learn something.
Yeah.
But don't mess with time.
That's a good.
When you come back, leave it the same way you found it.
That's a good culture of, like, we don't have a lot of rules. Be respectful, be on top of things like that. I love it. All right, 38, man. It's cha-cha time. All right. What's your favorite music artist and song?
My favorite music artist and song. So right now, most of the music I listen to is all Christian music. Yeah. So right now, my favorite artists are We the Kingdom.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And Don't Tread on Me.
Okay. All right. I'm about to look that up.
You have to look at it. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's just about, don't let the devil get to you, and you gotta.
So I'm a huge.
And it's also kind of like rocky Christian, so it's not. It's something I can listen to while I'm running and be excited about. But
I'm a huge Christian hip hop fan.
Okay.
That's 90% of the music I listen to is Lecrae and NF and NXT Mike and guys like that. Gotcha. That's my genre. If you've seen my Twitter post when I work out, when I post it, those lyrics are all from CHH music. So yeah.
I was wondering where some of those quotes came from.
Yeah, all of them come from all those guys.
Some of them are off the wall.
Yeah.
Had to figure it out.
It's when I'm listening to it, when a line or 2 catches me, I'll go over to my notes section and write it down for a future post. Yeah. Well, Mike, thanks for being on the show, man. Let's get our selfie in here.
All right.
All right, man. Appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Rooting for you this year, man. It's gonna be a good year. I just
appreciate it. We're excited for it. It's gonna be excellent.
Awesome. Love it, Mike. Thanks for being here today. Yeah, hey, and this guy here, he's going to be a future guest. He's on my list, but unfortunately the list is long, and I only get 52 people a year. That's not very many, right? So it's hard to get on the show, but Mike's going to be on there one day, as well as this guy right here. Introduce yourself to us, please.
Hey, I'm Sean Fowkes, head coach of track and field at Goshen College in Goshen, Indiana.
Sean, I feel like you're a guy that I haven't known for very long, but it feels like I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Like, I mean, between social media posts, like back and forth, and like just promoting the sport, and not just the sport, but coaches and athletes who are doing good things and putting more positivity back into our sport.
Yeah,
I think we've done that a lot, like in overlapping.
Yeah. I love that, man. And you're such a gregarious and giver type of guy. I think that may be what attracts. Like, oh, this feels like a guy that I'd be like if you lived in the same town, we'd be boys. You know what I'm saying? That's what it kind of feels like. So tell us, Sean, about this week of the convention. You are a smart guy. You had a list of all the different things going on, events, speaking topics, meetings, etc. What were the one or two like you highlighted, big time circle, like I can't miss this one?
So there were a few different things that were really exciting for me. Obviously, so it's my first year at Goshen.
That's right.
Because we just made the transition this fall. I never feel like I know enough about being a head coach. So there was a rookie head coach or a first year head coach, because I've only been a head coach for a few years. And I know that I don't know everything. Right. The minute I think I do, I need to stop coaching.
You're in trouble.
So that was one that was exciting. There's always someone recruiting that's always kind of like, what's the new and latest thing coming out? But I know that like Sean Denard at UCLA has a really good presentation coming up. He was at Grand Valley when I was in Michigan, and he's a great guy. Charles Inferna also does another really good one. So, I mean, there have been a few that I'm really, really excited to see, but it's because they're quality people who've done quality work.
Right. So you brought up something interesting, Sean, about being your first year at Goshen. Our number one podcast by listens is by, maybe no surprise, Boo Shexney. Yeah. Boo. And, one of the reasons why I think that episode is so important, that if you haven't listened to it, you absolutely have to listen to it. And if you have listened to it, you need to listen to it again. But Boo talks about if he could go back in time, what he would do different. And he advises coaches, we pay our coaches out here so little money that if you can go somewhere and make extra money, you need to do it because you need to be setting yourself up for when you're 60, 70, retirement, etc. Right? But we get into it. I switched jobs a lot when I was coaching. I went to 5 different places in 10 years.
Right.
So I did it as well. And we always have these, I'm going to call them excuses, reasons, whatever, of why we don't leave. The kids, I had a good recruiting class. I don't want to leave these guys or gals, etc. How did you handle transition of where you were to coming to Goshen and all those outside voices that we hear when we start talking about other jobs?
Right. So the biggest thing for me was having a position that not only facilitated us to be successful in our sport and help me grow as a coach and help provide for my student athletes and give them a great opportunity, but it was also a chance to have my family be well taken care of. I love my wife and my son dearly. Like they're my reason for getting up and working my butt off to do what I do.
Yeah.
And so when we told kids at Rochester, when I was there at Rochester University in Michigan, I said, it's going to take a lot for me to move from here, because we had in-laws that could help, facilitate some babysitting, and they were very supportive of us. And we're about an hour away from my folks now, so we still have family close by, but it's a 30,000 person community that loves the town. I mean, it almost looks like it should be on one of those Hallmark meetings, right? So I mean, it's very close knit, but because it's close knit, you're going to have a lot of passionate people.
Right.
And the big thing I tell kids is if you want to go somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to go somewhere far, go together.
Love it.
And so if we have a town that buys into what we're doing and our kids buy into what we're doing, it makes it that much easier to go where we want to go. So,
well, you're on your own right here. I have 100 random questions.
Okay.
You get to pick the number of your question tonight.
Do you have any do we get to double up?
Oh, yeah. I'm not keeping track, man. That's too much work.
Okay. All right. You know what? We're going to do 15, the date of my son's birthday from March.
Oh, I love it, man. In game, who's your favorite comic book character?
Captain America.
Why?
Quite frankly, because even when things are tough or hard, he still has to make the call to do the right thing. It's not always easy to do the right thing sometimes in our sport. Sometimes people fall by the wayside or say, you know what, we're going to take the easy way out. If it were easy, everyone would do it. And we've got probably the best and hardest sport in the world.
Amen.
Because you have so many different disciplines, so many different things that you need to do and accomplish. So it's not easy. And he's a guy that says, I can do this all day long.
Never takes the easy route.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I think that's worth emulating a lot. So yeah, just putting it on his day's work, and he throws a discus, so why not, right?
That's where I knew there had to be something else in there.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, man, let's get our selfie in here.
Definitely.
In today's interview. Man, I'm just so thankful for you. I appreciate everything you do, and I think you are going to be transformational at Goshen. I really do. I think not only the program in the school, but with your family. When you make decisions based on your family, things are going to work out, brother.
I get what Boo's saying about wanting to go somewhere and set yourself up for the money down the road, but like, if you're not happy, no amount of money is going to get you
100%.
So like, I mean, we've done a lot of those decisions based on what can give us close to both.
Yeah.
So yeah, we toe the line pretty well, but it's worked out really well for us so far.
I love it, man. It's just going to keep getting better. I'm excited to watch along and watch the journey.
Definitely appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
As we're getting closer, it is 6:45. We were scheduled through 7 o'clock, but again, there's still people out here. I'm gonna make sure everybody here gets on the podcast. So if it's 7 o'clock, we're gonna keep going. I'm not stopping until everybody gets in the hot seat tonight. All right. So speaking of the hot seat, come on, you can't be shy.
I'm not shy.
We got this tiny camera. We got this microphone. You can't be shy. It's like when we're in the plane. You basically sit
right here.
Yeah, it's right here. And who's going to get the armrest? That's the biggest fight. If we had to sit next to the chair, you'd win. I just let you.
I'm bowing out.
I just sit like this all day.
I'm bowing out on the plane.
Introduce yourself here, my friend.
Hi, I'm Jihad Jones. I'm the sprint and hurdles coach at Southern Arkansas University.
The fighting mule riders.
Mule riders.
Okay.
Yes, mule riders.
We had Joseph Blue on the podcast, who has run through SAU back in the day, who told us an amazing story on the podcast the first time he went into Arkansas. I won't get into it. You'll just have to listen to it.
I'm pretty sure I'll hear it.
But it was quite amazing. So tell me, John, how many times have you come to the convention?
This is my second one.
Second one?
Yeah, I was at Orlando last year for the first time.
All right.
This is number 2.
So there's a big difference between your first one and second one, right? First one, you had no idea what was going on. Now you have a little better understanding. What are you looking forward to the most this year at the convention?
The biggest thing I'm trying to do is really focus on my event because this year I'm not coaching the jumps.
Okay.
So last year I did sprint, hurdles, and jumps. So I tried to hit as many different event specialties as I can. Now this year I'm going to focus in on just sprint and hurdles so I can really just hone in on what I'm trying to perfect. So I think that would make it a good experience. I don't have to bounce around as much.
Is there someone specifically you're looking to listen to tonight? Or this week?
Yeah, I want to hear Ernie.
Oh, of course.
I want to hear Ernie.
Another Gill Podcast alum, by the way.
Yeah.
Notice all the good guys and gals are on the podcast. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then I want to drop in on Tony Vini as well.
Oh, man. I didn't know Tony was here. What a legend.
Because I actually coached against Tony when I was coaching at Moore Park College. He's at Antelope Valley.
Right.
Yeah, so I would ask Tony all the time a lot of questions. So it would be good to hear him speak instead of speak to a crowd because I usually just get one-on-one with him when I would see him in track meets. So this would be a new.
He's a good one to ask a lot of questions.
Oh yeah, wealth of knowledge. I always enjoy talking to him.
Of knowledge. Yeah. Maybe he doesn't get his due, to be real frank with you, in regards to how good he is in our sport as a track and field coach.
Yeah, because he's been a lot of places. He's done a lot of great things, and I think he has a lot to offer. So whenever I bump into him, I have to talk to him.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, we're having a little fun tonight. I've got 100 random questions. They're all numbered 1 through 100. There's the only part of the destiny you get to do is the number, and then I get to ask the question.
All right, so we got question roulette, huh?
Yeah, question roulette. That's right. It's all in your mind right now, spinning around. What number did it stop on?
I'll go with my football number. Let's go 15.
That's a common way to get the number, because I'll always ask you, so what's the significance of my old football number? Yeah. All right, end game, man. Who is your favorite comic book character?
Favorite comic book character? Oh, man. Growing up, I watched a lot of Superman and Batman, especially the Batman cartoons. Those were fantastic.
Those are classic.
I have to go with that because that reminds me of my childhood. But now as an adult, even though he's a villain, I really did enjoy Thanos as a villain.
I agree.
In Marvel, so
there was something being the bad guy, but there was something like you're just kind of drawn because there was like that duality of like, I'm the weight of the responsibility is on me to do, because he really thought he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, like he was convinced that his idea was great, and it might have been a great idea. I just think the execution of said idea is where the ethical lines were drawn out.
And execution is the right word. I mean, just executed half of all of humanity there.
Yeah, he did. So.
I don't go to the movie theaters very often because I'm a cheapskate. So I wait till they get to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But my son's birthday was this past weekend, and one of his birthday wants was to go see Wakanda Forever.
Oh.
Have you seen that one yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We actually took the team. Most of the team we went as a team to go watch it on the weekend that it came out. So we used it as a team bonding experience. We loved it. It was an awesome movie.
I did not have Black Panther comics. I was a comic book guy, but I never got Black Panther comics, so I didn't really know that character very well. So I knew, I actually had the original comics of Thanos during Infinity War. I actually had all those as well.
Nice.
But I knew all the traditionals, the Captain America, Spider-Man's, all this kind of stuff. And so when Black Panther, the original, came out, I remember telling my wife, I was like, I'm probably not going to like it because I don't know the story.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then Wakanda Forever, and I was like, well, for sure I can't like two in a row. They're not going to, hook me in there. It was amazing.
Yeah, like
another weak character, by the way. Namor was another guy.
Namor was an awesome character.
Awesome.
Awesome. I don't think you need to watch the first one to understand the second one.
I don't think so. It might help, but I don't think so. Yeah.
Because I think the two standalone stories is obviously with the death of Black Panther of Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, they kind of put that in there, but the story is standalone. You don't need the first one to see the second.
It was amazing. Well, wrap us up here, Jihad. What are you looking forward to the most in the 2023 track season?
Oh man, I have a young team, so I am really interested in seeing how my freshmen adapt and my sophomores bounce back from last year. So I have a really heavy freshman and sophomore team, so I want to see how my youth adapts to this new environment. I'm sure my junior seniors will be okay because they're all mature, and I have a few grad students, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'm interested to see what my freshmen and sophomores do this year.
Well, no doubt under your tutelage and what you're going to learn here this week, and the people that you allow to pour into you, they're going to do really well. They're going to be your great juniors and seniors coming up that you don't have to worry about. You can lead your new sophomores and freshmen that come in.
Oh yeah, definitely, because all the information I get here goes back home with me, and it goes to them.
Well, this gets to go back home with me. I get to do a selfie.
Oh, perfect.
All right, man. Thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate you,
me.
man. Yeah, we're gonna have a great season. I just know.
Thank you.
I love it, man. We're just gonna keep rolling. We got someone else new coming into the show, and we'll see who we've got here. I know exactly what we've got here. I'm really excited about this one. This is gonna be interesting, and really, what I love is it's about giving value. And next here on this podcast, we're going to talk all about value and value given. So please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Phil Esposito. I am Mondo's Business Development Branding Manager.
I love it. My title just got changed to National Business Development Manager. It was National Sales Manager, but the biz dev side is just much more my passion, man. So I appreciate anybody who's got biz dev in their title. Phil, you wanted to talk about something specific, and I'm gonna put you on the spot because as I was previewing you, I'm a huge I try to revolve my life around giving value, and what you want to talk about today is one of the biggest, best value-given things that I've seen from a company in our space in quite a while. Why don't you tell us what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's great to hear. So, at Mondo, we're very passionate about the community. Obviously, coaches play a huge role in our business. We want to help coaches. We want to help coaches help their athletes on and off the surface. So, this past year, we produced a documentary on mental health in sports. And, again, mental health, it's in our face. We don't pretend to be the experts. However, we want to be the thought leaders in this. We want to help coaches. And so we put together a 45-minute documentary on mental health in sports. We interviewed elite athletes. We interviewed sports psychologists, and we interviewed superfans. And so it was very, very interesting, and we zeroed in on the role of the fan and how much pressure these fans are putting on these athletes. And so we had this documentary air all throughout the country during May, Mental Health Awareness Month. We had it on all the major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, and have gotten some really great feedback, especially from coaches. And what we want to do is we want to create a resource. So now this has become a resource so they will in turn share it with their athletes, and it really is a conversation starter. And so we've sort of moved on to phase 2. We don't want to do a one-off.
Okay.
And so we've moved on to phase 2, and we want to bring the conversation into the schools.
Okay.
And so we've created a poster. Can I show you this?
Yeah, please.
This
Absolutely.
poster?
This is what we got the video for.
There we go.
Normally it's audio only, and I'm like, no, you can't show
Excellent.
me.
So we've created this poster.
Yeah, lift it up just a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Stay on track. Okay.
Stay on track.
Stay on track. Yep.
And the track is an acronym.
Oh, yeah.
And these are suggestions, for athletes who are struggling. T, take a moment. R, remember to breathe. A, ask for help. C, call a friend. And K, keep moving forward. And personally, that's kind of my favorite.
Yeah, keep moving
So
forward.
we're hoping coaches, and we've got a couple of resources down below on the bottom, and we're hoping coaches will put these up in their facilities, again, as a reminder that, and we know that all these athletes do struggle at some point, that there is help out there.
So let me ask you, Phil. Mondo, obviously very well known for track surface, produces some of the top track surface in the world. It's funny. In our industry in general, not in either of ours, but in general, they talk about they sell socks and jocks. That's kind of the sports marketing world, right? Sure. But you sell track surfacing. Why do something like this? Why is Mondo? I mean, this is not. I know what you're putting into this financially. This is not a cheap thing to do. Yeah. Why? You could easily. If you didn't do this, no one would say, hey, how come Mondo isn't working, helping us with mental health? But you choose to do it without being asked.
Yeah,
why?
It's our passion. It's community give back. It is, again, providing resources for coaches who are so vital in our business. Right. So you have the coach and then you have the athlete. So if we can help the coach, who, in turn can help their athlete, that's what we want to do. And we've got, Mondo's a strong brand in the track and field business, right? Absolutely. And so in the track and field world, we feel like we have a role to play in this. So it's something we're very passionate about. We're always looking to partner with like-minded entities, and we'll continue to do it.
So is this in the umbrella of Mondo Cares? Because I know there's been a lot of events and activities through the Mondo Cares work through Mondo.
I'm hoping you remember the Mondo Footspeed event.
Here?
Yes.
Of course I do. In fact, we were talking about it earlier.
Oh,
yeah.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. So, we put together 5 or 6 events, and then unfortunately we hit a brick wall with COVID.
Right.
So we are going to be bringing back that event in 23.
Oh, good.
So we're very excited about it.
Are you going to do it here at USTFCCA in 2023? Is that the plan, at least for now?
Yeah.
People are going to be very excited about that.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That was an amazing event. I mean, there's events, and then there's just the different people that we're talking about today. And that was a really fun event.
To have 1,500 track and field coaches in that ballroom watching these young coaches compete. So the goal is to do it again.
I love it. We'll wrap us up, Phil. Where is someone's listening or watching this right now? This will also be on the podcast later on throughout the year of 2023. Where can someone go to find more information about? Tell me the name again of the film. It was I'm okay. I'm not okay.
I'm fine, not really.
I'm fine, not really.
Yes.
Yeah. Where can someone go to learn more about that? The posters. Where can someone go to find out more information?
So you can go to the Mondo website. You can go to mondocares.com.
Okay.
And obviously all our social outlets.
So Google Mondo, because that's it's the easiest way, or mondocares.com.
That's right.
I love it, man. You should take a time out right now and go check that out. I think it's extremely valuable. Again, the value that you're giving coaches, because to me, you hit the nail on the head when you said, without these guys and gals, you and I don't do anything. We go do something else, actually, right? Mondo doesn't exist. Gill doesn't exist. We need to be uplifted and honoring these young men and women and these old men and women as they continue building the greatest sport in the world. So just love what you're doing. It was an easy, when we talked about doing this on the podcast, 100% easy. This is a way that we can hopefully help fan the flames and have more awareness out there for this very important topic that you're talking about and these very important people.
Love what you're doing, right? Your passion for track and field, and just super, super glad to be here.
I love it, man. Well, even for you, we got to end with a selfie.
All right, excellent.
All right, Phil. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, appreciate it.
Pleasure, Mike.
Give love to my friend Jim, man.
I will.
John. Sorry, and Jim.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. I just love all the people. Yeah, you can't steal the headphones, Phil. All that good that he does, and he was trying to take my headphones away from me here at the desk. So that wasn't very nice. But MondoCares.com is very nice. You should go check that out, and it really is great for your athletes and for the posters, David, you talked about that. I'd go to MondoCares.com and check that out there. And if they don't have the button or something to get it, I'm sure there's an email for you to go check it out there. So scoot on in here. We're doing like airplane style, man. We're getting close and personal. We know each other now.
Yes, we're best friends.
We've got another Gill Athletics Connections alum here, which if you've been paying attention, you know what that means. He doesn't know yet, I don't think. So we'll see here at the end. Introduce yourself here to our listeners.
My name is Phil Redwood from Fort Scott Community College in Kansas.
And you are most famous for the straight brim hat.
Oh, the straight brim hat. Yeah, I'm the only guy rocking the brim hat.
And I'm going to leave that subject for a little bit later. So let's start with what are you doing here at the convention? What are like the things that you are like not miss? You're not missing.
The symposiums. I like learning more stuff about track and field.
Yeah. So who's the one that you circled? Like, I ain't missing this one.
Well, I didn't look at the names here.
You just know you're going.
I'm going.
Hey, one day, you know what's cool? You're going to be on that stage.
I mean, that's it.
100%. Like, I mean, like, it's a no-brainer. You know, I'm a gambling man, so those are odds that I would put heavily into.
Yeah.
And is this your first year?
It's actually my third year.
Third year, okay.
So COVID was my first year.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. And what do you most enjoy? Like, you know, because you've been.
The Awards is really amazing.
Is that
I love
right?
it.
Yeah.
Gotta go every year.
What about that? Why that?
It's just magical. It's the Heisman Trophy for track and field. The best athletes in the world. With all the other alumni and track athletes there, coaches. It's great.
You know, I like to say it the other way around, that the Heisman is the Bowerman for football.
It really is.
I like to just get more legitimacy to what we're doing here. I love it. Well, my man Philip here was a Gill Athletics Connections alum. So again, whatever podcast app you like to listen to podcasts, just Google, I keep saying Google, search his name and Gill, and it'll pop right up, or right here on YouTube as well. Really had a blast with you on the podcast, man. That was like our first time kind of getting to know each other. And it can be a little nerve-wracking because you're kind of spilling your guts to a stranger at that point. But like I said, we're best friends now, so it's okay. Yeah. What do you remember the most about the podcast? Not necessarily maybe like a story you told or anything like that, but the after it published, was there any kind of cool story?
A lot of people said they saw the video, and it was really cool. It was really cool.
That's really
other than me getting that ticket still, but other than that, yeah. That's good. Y'all should pay for that thing, by the way.
I don't think so. We're going to move right on to our next subject here. So I've got 100 random questions here.
Okay.
Numbered 1 through 100. Don't be cheating. You get to pick the number 1 through 100.
9.
Why 9?
It's my favorite number.
Okay, not football number?
It was my football
number. Okay, that's everybody's answer so far. Yeah. All right, Cha-Ching, what currently costs money that should be free to everyone?
Apartments.
Really? Now that's a really, you answered it quickly, but that's a well thought out answer.
Yeah.
I would have went with internet because I'm shallow. You went with apartments, which is very true.
Yeah, we have to pay every month the rent. I think that's
Yeah. And with housing costs, it ain't like, well, just go buy hell.
Yeah.
In the down payment, that's really well thought out, man. Like, I knew
I'm different.
I knew you'd have a whole different answer. Okay, before we sign off, though, I do want to say, because I talked about something that you're famous for, and I didn't make fun of it, the hat and all that, and the shades and all that kind of stuff.
Gotta be cool.
But you also are famous for, at least in my world, we hang out a lot on Twitter, right, together, is, I don't know how to put this. You're kind of a no pull the punches kind of guy. You're the kind of guy that'll make a post and say, hey, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
And it's always about things that are very pertinent to our sport. It's not off the wall crazy, like what is this guy thinking about? It's like, hey, you need to step up and do here. Sorry, not sorry. Hey, if you want a scholarship, well, then you better do this, et cetera, et cetera. So where does that attitude come from? Because some people can get shy away, you have to get smacked down every once in a while. When you push, that means people push back. But what keeps you kind of true and pointing north of your true north? That's who you are. So how do you continue moving forward in who you are?
I like being different from everybody else. Everybody else like politically correct. I'm the guy that go and say what I says on my mind right away, and I let you know how I feel, and I don't hide my feelings most of the time. And so if I feel it strongly about it, I'll let you know about it.
Do you ever find positive? I know you do, but what has been the most positive from that?
More people come to me and tell me I felt the same way, or I wanted to say that, but you said it for me, so thank you for saying it. And they just retweeted it like
I was thinking, and you tell me if this is true in your case. So people who become your friends, are really friends because, boy, you telling warts and all here. So, I mean, be ready for it. If you don't like them, then okay, you don't be friends with them.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah. So as we end here, another 60 seconds or so, what are you most excited for in 2023 for track and field for Fort Scott?
We have a great freshman class coming in with our sophomores getting better and developing. I think we're going to probably repeat again indoors. And so that's, again, the first time in school history.
Yeah.
We're looking to be a regional power, go against Barton and McLeod, those powerhouses. And so we're not backing down anybody, and we're going to go get it.
I love it. You know, as the former coach of Neosho County, it hurt me that you didn't say, you know, the old Neosho County. No, we weren't. We couldn't have beat his freshman team, so we couldn't have done it. All right, my man, we get a selfie to end the interview today. Thank you so much for being on the show, man. Appreciate you, bro. You're going to do great, man.
Thank you.
Again, another. Oh, wait, no. Sit back down. Hold on, because I can't forget this. I keep forgetting this. So, you were an alum of the podcast. Thanks again for being on the show. You know, that was a grueling, drilling 2 hours. You know, you had to go through your whole history and your whole story, and you were so patient. You did a great job of there. So, for the alums of the podcast, for tonight only, I'm allowing you to flip the script, and you get to ask me one question.
All right, if you're a superhero, what would you be?
I just watched Wakanda Forever, and that was really good, man.
I was crying on that.
Really, yeah, I didn't cry because I'm not emotional.
I'm not emotional.
I could have said something else there and gotten in trouble, but I just, I went pretty easy there. If I was going to be any superhero, I feel like there's an obvious answer that I'm just missing. I'm going to go with, I thought Spider-Man was kind of cool. I like the strength, and I don't think I could fly around like that. You know, the webs and stuff like that. I'd probably be like Ant-Man.
Oh wow, yeah, that was.
I don't know why.
I wouldn't expect Ant-Man.
Yeah, you kind of put me on the spot there. That was pretty good. I know. I should probably be thinking of these questions more and more. All right, man. You stumped me. Good job. I didn't think he would actually, that anybody would stump me. I feel like, most people would be pretty nice, but he was pretty mean with what we were doing there and how he just flipped the script there. Hey, so it is 7:05. Officially, we said to 7, but we are going to keep going. As long as there are people out here that want to be on the show, we're going to keep going until there are no more, or until 7:45, because that's when we're going to go to dinner. And I'm kind of a hungry guy here, right? All right, introduce yourself to the listeners here today.
So I'm Micah Clemens. I coach at the University of Montana.
Yeah, we want to hear you. Yeah, we're doing airplane style, man. We get up in here, man. Micah. So, Micah, this is your second time here at the convention. Now you kind of know what to expect. Last year, you kind of like, eyes in the, you didn't know what you're doing and what to expect. Now you know what to expect and everything. What are you most looking forward to here at the convention this year?
The biggest thing I'm looking forward to this convention is more so making more connections. Solely because I do enjoy the symposiums and learning and refreshing, especially most of the symposiums are technical based. Some will be like personality based as well, how to train an athlete mentally. But the connections part of it and getting the input from another coach is probably the biggest thing for me, because it's not just coming from one person as opposed to it being just from a couple people. You have different perspectives when you make connections.
So how do you, as a young person in this profession, what's your attack mode for networking? How's your style?
Biggest thing for me, being myself. Because, you come across and try to be, yes, you want to be professional to an extent, but if you're yourself, then you can really put yourself in that position to be seen in a way that others might not. It's non-traditional. But the good thing about it is that you put yourself out there, people already know what to expect, so that's not like flip a switch. You're like,
you're one way here and you're a different way over here. Exactly. Well, who am I really getting? Exactly. What's your style? Like, if you see a coach out there that you want to talk to, do you just go right up to him, or do you wait till there's a crowd and kind of sneak yourself in there and start laughing like it's a joke? What's kind of your go-to there?
My go-to, I'll just walk up. I don't mind walking up and having a conversation, or if I specifically have a specific question that kind of sticks out of my mind, I'm like, hey, I have a question for you. And kind of pose that question first. Well, of course, introduce myself. You just
You're like, hey, here's a question. Don't worry about who I am.
Exactly. It's just being personal. You want to be on a personal level. It's kind of like coaching athletes. You want to be personal with athletes to an extent, and you don't want to necessarily make them think or feel uncomfortable to where they can't come in and, be them.
And you felt very comfortable last year coming right up to me, and like we kind of started off the base. I was like, I kind of like I know this guy. He actually kind of made me worried. Like, man, do I know this guy? And it really was the first time we met. I promise. But you just have such that kind of warming personality that it was just like, oh man, I feel like I know this dude.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how well we do know you. I've got 100 random questions here, numbered 1 through 100. The only part of the destiny you get to do is you get to pick the number.
Okay. How many numbers?
1 through 100.
Okay.
Don't be cheating.
Let's do 66.
Ooh, why 66?
High school football number.
That was my high school football number.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I bet it's a good one because I bet it was, let's talk sports. What's your favorite sport outside of track and field?
I would say lately, volleyball has grown on me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that right?
Volleyball. Men's volleyball, we had, I went to a Division II school in North Carolina, Barton College.
Yeah.
And competed there 4 years. We had men's volleyball and women's volleyball. So
rare. Wow.
Going to those events were unbelievable. We had nice programs. They competed very well against Division I programs because, Division I against Division II.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Division II programs out there.
Right. Not a lot of men's programs in
seriously.
general. Yeah.
So being in that energy and seeing it is just
it's a cool sport. I became friends where I went to school at Troy University with the women's team there and just learned how to play, not play, but, the ins and outs of the sport. It's a really cool sport. Well, Michael, wrap us up here today. What are you looking forward to the most in the 2023 track season?
Ooh, I am looking forward to possibly growing our family, growing the Falcon family, and big thing is bringing in more generating exciting throwers that want to be a part of our winning culture. So I'm looking forward to a big season from the throwers I do have now. Shout out to all my Valley Falcons out there. Martin Bulldogs too. Shout out to y'all. Looking forward to the big season. It's been a great fall for us, and just looking forward to see how the group can go out there.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to the most? You told me to send you my address, which I did on Twitter. I'm looking forward to my shirt.
I got you.
Hey, man, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We end everyone with a selfie. You don't get out that easy, man. Awesome, brother, man. You're going to do great. I'm looking forward to seeing your season this year.
Sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, Micah, again, just what a great person, man. Just really made me feel like I knew him forever last year and was super excited to see him again here in 2022. We're live here in Denver, Colorado at the 2022 USTFCCCA Track and Field Convention. We're past time. We said 5 to 7 Mountain Standard Time, 6 to 8 out there in the Central Time, or in my home time zone. Shout out to the CST. And looks like we're kind of getting on the end here. I don't know that we have many people left here, so maybe we're going to wrap this up as I don't see anybody kind of chomping at the bit to join us. I'm going to give just a couple of minutes here, a couple seconds maybe I don't get very long here, and we'll see if anybody joins us to sit in the hot seat here for the Gill Athletics Connections podcast live recording, first time ever live recording of the Gill Athletics Connections podcast here in Denver, Colorado, USTFCCCA 2022. As we wait for our next victim here in the hot seat, hey, check me out on Twitter at Mike Cunningham, just like it sounds, no spaces, no dashes, MikeCunningham. I'm hot, man. I'm always on Twitter, man. That's where you can always catch me. Of course, you can always text me on my cell phone, 217-898-3038. And of course, you can check out everything that we make and manufacture right here in the great USA in Champaign, Illinois at GillAthletics.com. On Twitter, we're at Gill Athletics, and I think on Instagram we're at Gill Athletics, or maybe Gill Athletics 1918. Not real sure. All right, we're getting ready here for our next guest. I knew I had at least one more person that would sit in the hot seat for us today here, man. Put your headphones on, scoot on up. We're doing it airplane style, man. I know you ain't shy.
Nice.
Introduce yourself to our audience here tonight.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Jake Wilkes. I'm the National Director here for Firefly Recovery. We are a recovery device mainly used to keep the legs fresh, which is pretty important in track and field.
So tell me, what does that mean? What is Firefly? Is it a treadmill? Is it a drink? What is Firefly?
So Firefly is a wearable technology.
Okay.
It is basically an NMES device, which is a stem.
Okay.
So stem
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was actually developed as a medical device. The medical version is called the Gecko.
Okay.
Yep. And Firefly is just the over-the-counter version of the technology. Sure. But the technology was actually developed to displace compression boots in the surgery centers. So a lot of times when patients have lower extremity surgery, they're sent home with SCD sleeves or IPC sleeves, which are just pneumatic compression devices. Right. They're sent home with those devices because it's going to help prevent blood clots and reduce swelling post-surgery. The issue in the medical space is that most people don't want to be stuck in compression boots for 24 hours post-surgery. Sure. So our device was developed to help provide a better patient-friendly option that was more wearable, on the go, easy to use. The science behind this, basically by stimulating what's called the peroneal nerve. That nerve starts at the top of the hips, goes down to the toes.
Right.
When you comfortably stimulate that nerve, it causes your foot to flutter or to dance. So you start getting this little foot tick.
Okay.
And that foot tick, the mechanic of moving your foot, actually moves blood back to the heart, similar to walking. So clinical research shows that by stimulating the peroneal nerve with our technology, it's called the on-pulse. It's basically the patent on the stem that runs the Firefly and the Gecko. When you stimulate that nerve, it actually increases lower extremity blood flow from hip to toe by 400%.
Wow.
Compared to compression, which is 117.
And I'll assume that blood flow is pretty important for track and field athletes.
Blood flow is good.
I asked the real easy softball questions here.
Hey, blood flow is the key. Well, sleep and nutrition, obviously, which hopefully your college athletes know that. They usually don't.
I'm sure they know that. There's knowing and doing.
Man. Well, the good thing, about this technology that we have, and I played running back in college. So
what school?
I was at Sanford University. Go Bulldogs!
No, not go Bulldogs.
No Bulldogs.
I went to Troy University.
Oh, okay.
Not that we have the greatest rivalry.
Yeah.
It's odd that we don't, to be real frank with you. But being in the same state, not being Alabama Auburn. So, okay, do you have any children?
I have a 6-month-old.
What boy or girl?
It's a boy.
What'd you name him?
His name is Cayman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a just turned 12-year-old. Guess what his name is?
Troy.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm the better alum for my school. I'm just saying.
I can't name my son Sanford. I guess you could.
Sam Ford and your last name?
Sanford Wilkes. There you go.
Dude, that actually
sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Hey, it's not too late. You say 6 months old?
Well, yeah.
No, you can change that.
I'm sure we'll have another.
After we're done here, call mom. And let's get that done.
Hey.
But no, Sanford, great school,
Great
honestly,
school.
and really, you played football right back there. Really great football team. They
Yeah.
really did great job. And maybe the most beautiful campus. It is an amazing campus.
It's an amazing campus, amazing professors, amazing sports. Had a great time there. Loved it. Our track and field program is obviously really good. It's been fun. Now a lot of the Sanford sports use my technology, so it's fun to get back.
So tell me more about that, Jake. You said your technology. How are you?
Our technology.
Yeah, sure. How are you in the company? How long did you join? And
Yes, I was employee number 1 4 years ago. So our founder actually brought the medical version of the technology to the U.S. And became the sole distributor for the Gecko. Anthony Gented's our founder. He's been in the medical distribution space for about 27 years. He's the one that kind of found the need for a more wearable, portable option for his patients because they were complaining so much about wearing compression post-surgery. So our technology is about the size of a wristwatch. So
I was going to ask. I'm trying to get a visual here.
It's basically looks like a sticker that you put right around the knee. That stem will stimulate the nerve, and that's what creates the systemic blood flow. So instead of passively, if anybody's familiar with compression, usually that's Normatec, recovery pump, everybody, any type of compression boot, that's massaging and squeezing that blood to get that lymphatic return.
You're actually putting action into it.
We're actively and dynamically moving blood using your body's own mechanics. So the main way we're being used by our athletes is when you're flying and you're traveling on buses. These are really easy devices. You can pack 50 pairs in a duffel bag, and your whole team can have their own unit on.
So it's wearable. Is it reusable or is it like Band-Aids? You get a box of them.
Yeah, it's reusable. So it's got an adhesive gel. You just take that on and off the leg each treatment. Most of our athletes will wear it for about 1 to 4 hours. Because our technology is patented for the nervous system, unlike other traditional muscle stems, you don't have to worry about muscular fatigue if you overstimulate the muscle group. Right. So it's a really easy, I guess going back to the athlete standpoint, it's an effortless recovery tool that you can use on the go. You don't have to be sitting in a booth or sitting in a chair. You can actually be mobile.
You can be doing things.
So a lot of our track and field programs, especially the NCAA. I know Dustin Williams at BYU, good friend of mine. They're big believers in it.
I
Texas,
love Dustin. He's a great dude.
Amazing guy. But a couple of great programs have really found tremendous benefit in having an on-the-go tool that athletes can utilize in and outside of the athletic training room. Because I think there's a need for athletes recovering more than just one treatment a week in the AT room. So especially for runners that are always fatigued. So just an easy, quick way to flush the body and get reoxygenated blood flow.
That's cool. So besides being here at the USTFCCCA Convention, people can go see the booth, maybe even get to try it out. Where, for our listeners, and this is going to be on the podcast throughout the year in 2023, where can people find out more about Firefly?
Yeah, our website is a very good resource. It's just www.recoveryfirefly.com.
Recoveryfirefly.com.
Our Instagram page is a fantastic resource. Most of that Instagram page is filled with, our athletes and our athletic trainers and our sports teams that also provide a lot of good applications of use and provide a good visual, because I know when you're just listening to a podcast, it's hard to picture what it's like, but visually, if you go to our website, our Instagram, it's pretty simple to find. Then my email, if anyone wants to contact me directly, is jake@recoveryfirefly.com.
Recovery Firefly, all one word, no dashes, dots, all that kind of stuff. Super easy. Thanks for doing that, by the way. Recoveryfirefly.com.
That's right.
I love it, brother, man. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
We end everyone with the selfies.
Hey,
even you, man. We got to get the selfie in
Get
here.
it in.
Awesome, Jake. Thanks a lot so much for being here, man. I appreciate you
Yes,
so much.
sir. Appreciate you.
Good luck with the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, that sounds like a great resource there, recoveryfirefly.com, man. I like that. And so maybe check it out. Maybe it's something for your athletes, and maybe not. I don't know, but you should check it out because you owe yourself and you owe your athletes to know everything that's available out there to you. So we said we were stopping at 7 o'clock. We ain't stopping at 7 o'clock. Not when you have VIPs like this in the house. We got to get them on the podcast here. Mike, you got to get in the seat for 5 minutes. You have to. 5 minutes with him, and then you come in. Let me get 5 minutes with him, then you come in 5 minutes. Love this guy, but that's a real VIP. Mike J, baby, Mike J. Scoot on up here and introduce yourself to our audience today.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Glad to be on and make my first appearance on the Gill Connections Podcast. My name is Jaquarius Wilson. They call me Coach J. I'm the Johnson Multis coach at the University of Montevallo, located about 30 minutes south of Birmingham.
And you're most famous for?
Depending on who tells it, standing triple jump champ. They might call me Triple Jump J. Some people know me as photographer J. Some people know me as quarterback J because I put people in position to make a play.
And quick on his feet too, by the way. But what he's really famous for, what I was fishing for, was he was a decathlete at my unofficial alma mater, Mississippi State University, man. Which, by the way, if you're listening right now, I know Coach Leach, who I'm not a big fan of necessarily, to be real frank with you, but he's having health issues very, very seriously. So just shout out and prayers to Coach Leach and his family, and just praying for health and healing for him. But luckily, you're healthy and you're here, man. So tell us, what are you? Is this your second year?
This is my second year.
So the first year you kind of bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. You don't know what's going on. Now you kind of get to understand the lay of the land and what goes on here. What are you looking forward to the most this week here at the convention?
This week, I'm really looking forward to just taking the time just to continue to re-solidify those relationships that I built last year. It's already happened. I've been here for not even 2 hours now. I'm walking down. Somebody's, hey, just Coach.
I said he was famous. I said you were famous.
You said it, but I'm just trying to live in my life. But no, it's good to see coaches that I met last year and everything else like that. It's been a really good place to be able to build those connections. The learning that takes place here, big, phenomenal. Just left a symposium shortly ago, but I'm really
Which one?
The high jump symposium.
Yeah, who taught it? Do you remember?
It was
I put you in the spot there. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's all good.
You did. But I know his face.
Good?
No, his face. It was. I really got. Sometimes for me, what I notice when it comes to learning and figuring things out as far as coaching, I feel like I've got a pretty solid general idea of like most events, again, former decathlete and everything like that. But it's certain cues or sentences that someone else might say that might make something click, because it's something I heard in there just now that I was like, oh, I never looked at it in that way. He mentioned running a curve, like pressing putting pressure against the ground to create lean instead of like leaning your body into it. So small things like that is sort of things that I'm looking to pick up
That's
here.
a huge thing. We all learn a little differently, right? So if you try to just go your one way, well, you're going to have athletes that have no clue, and there's going to be friction. So to be able to have an inventory of cues is pretty vital. That's very true. All right, man, we're having a little bit of fun here. I've got 100 random questions.
All right.
You get to pick the number, 1 through 100.
22.
Why 22?
Former high school football number.
It's everybody. It's every dude's number is their high school football number.
I got numbers
Every
I can
dude's.
pull out. We got
Every
10,
dude's number.
14.
All right, 22. Get out of my kitchen. What's your least favorite food or ingredient?
I got to go with probably carrots.
Really?
Carrots.
Raw or cooked? No way, no how?
Honestly, I've had some baked carrots, like high degree roasted carrots, a little salt on it or sometimes with sugar. Not as bad as just the raw carrot.
You just don't carrot. No dipping in ranch.
Nope, don't like carrots. Don't like dipping in ranch. Only reason why I would eat it would be for the benefits of the eye.
Yeah, I
don't
think
like
that's an
carrots.
urban myth. I think that was beat down. Like I don't see like these rabbits that can see through a wall and like they eat carrots all the time, right? At least that's what the cartoons told me on Saturday morning.
Right.
Jaquarius, what are you looking forward to the most this 2023 track and field season?
Good question. Put me on the spot. Let's see.
Always.
Biggest thing I'm looking forward to.
I was going to name the podcast the Put You on the Spot podcast. I went with Connections instead.
Put you on the spot. No, but I would say my biggest goal for the 2023 year is to just continue seeing my athletes improve. As cliche as that sounds.
That's very cliche.
That's always I feel like that's a good indicator of coaching ability as well as for them to feel good about themselves and whatnot. Because obviously we need to get their degrees and whatnot. But if they're improving athletically, I'm looking forward to seeing that. But I'm also speaking into existence. Last year, spoken to existence, having conference champions. Ended up having a couple of those freshman coaching. This year, I'm having an All-American. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody's going to be All-American.
You got options.
Got speaking into existence. Somebody's going to be an
Do
All-American.
you believe in accountability?
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you to hold Micah accountable. He said he's going to send me some track and field gear from Montevallo. He's got my address and everything. He's got no excuses. Okay. So I need you to hold him accountable, all right?
Gotcha.
Dude, thanks for coming on, man.
I appreciate you.
We get a selfie. We end everyone with a selfie. All right, brother, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate you, man.
I'll holler at you later.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be here all week. I'm here all week, baby. Not live all week, but we here all week. Hey, so not only track and field coaches and directors of relays, we have the director of Drake Relays and the director of ops of KU Relays here on the podcast. But we also have, this is the only one we've had so far, but we got the best one. Don't tell anybody else around. This isn't recorded, right? Introduce yourself here to our audience today.
Yeah, audience. My name's Cody Brosek. Currently serve as the Director of Operations over at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. A little bit about myself. Came from Wichita State. I was actually a teacher. I was an elementary education teacher for 2 years. Realized I missed the world of track. That led to an internship at the University of Nebraska. Led to Wichita State for a year. Wichita State led to the University of Notre Dame out there for 4.5. Gary Pepin about 11 months ago called and said, "You want to come home?" My wife overheard the phone call and we moved home.
It was a done deal.
Yeah, it was a done deal. As soon as my wife said, "Oh, wait, we're close to family again," it was done.
Well, tell us, Gary, we're very familiar with track coaches. At least we think, if we're from the outside, we know what a track coach does. But we've got a pretty good insight into what a track and field coach does on the high school and college level. Give us the kind of the 30,000-foot level. What does a director of ops do?
I do everything I can to make the head coaches and the assistant coaches' jobs easier.
Okay.
I always say the same thing when I have recruits come in and I'm talking to the family. I go, "You're trusting your son or daughter to the University of Nebraska, the University of Notre Dame." I said, "It's my job, in a way, to try to be their parent. I'm always going to make sure your son or daughter has a roof over their head, food in their mouth, clothes on their back, and a safe way to get home, to and from home."
And so what is, when you come into the office each day, there's 3 things on the top of your list every day. What do those look like?
Right now, this time of year, I'm looking at home meet management,
Okay.
making sure we're ready.
You guys host a lot of meets?
We do. We're hosting 5 indoor meets this indoor season. Our outdoor track will be ready in 25, and we'll host 3 more there.
Yeah.
So I'm hosting home meet management. First thing I'm doing, I'm looking at team travel, and the third thing I'm doing is making sure our budget's right.
And why did you go into this realm of track and field versus the one we're the most familiar with, the coaching?
Yeah, so I had a great opportunity at Nebraska Wesleyan where I graduated from. Ted allowed me to be a student volunteer and loved him for the opportunity. But what I loved through the opportunity is he let me run the meets. He had me take a large role in contacting high schools and bringing that in. And I instantly fell in love with the meat management side of things.
Wow.
And Donnell Earl at Nebraska kind
Yeah,
of step in. She
that's
was
right.
she was
Oh,
awesome.
man, I forgot all about her. Yes,
you
love
know,
her.
God bless her, because without her, I'm not here.
Oh.
And Donnell, let me, she kind of opened the door to, hey, there's this whole other spectrum and world. Yes, you have the coaches that you see there at the forefront, but when it comes to operations, it was such a small community. You didn't know what they were doing, and Donnell really allowed me to come in, take a look at what she was doing, and I fell in love.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love when people find their passion. You know,
Gosh,
we're all, I believe we're all built for one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very rare when we actually find that one thing. It really is. We go through our lives and different jobs and still have fun and create value, but once in a while we line up with our true calling, and it's something special. And having worked with you at a couple different places now, you're it, man. You whether it's luck or God's hand pushing you over here, man, you're in the right place for you, your family, and selfishly for our sport.
Yeah, heck yeah. You look at, I was a junior high teacher, and I would have, that was 7-8 years ago. If you'd have told me I'd be sitting next to you with Mike Cunningham in Denver, Colorado at the convention, I would have said you're crazy.
Right.
But like you said, I'm a firm believer, and every person has a calling in life, and there's a true direction that's meant for that person. And how it happens, who knows?
That's right.
I'm a firm believer that God was involved in that process.
Absolutely.
But I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see how happy you are. I've got 100 random questions.
Let's go.
1 through 100. You get to pick the number.
We will go 34.
34. Why 34?
Sorry, Katie, my wife. That was my first crush's basketball number.
Number 34. I'm no comment. Number 34. I'm not bored yet. What is your must-have family friend game? You're having friends over, or, you get together for the holidays. What's the must-have game? We are putting it on the table. We are playing right now.
My little sister made it for me. It's called Aggravation. So it's a marble game with dice, and what you got to do is you got to roll a 1 or 6, get out of your house, and then you got to work your way around the board. So let's say you're sitting in a spot and I roll a 3 and I land on you, I send you back to your house.
Wow.
And it's one of those things, whether it's my family, my in-laws, friends coming over, it's the first thing on the table.
Any board flipping?
No, there's some select words, when that person's getting real close and you kind of slam that marble a little hard. But yeah, I haven't seen a board go flying yet.
I love it, man. And tell us as we wrap up here, Cody, thanks again for being here, man.
Thank you.
What are you looking forward to the most in the 2023 track and field season?
I have the great opportunity right now to be working with a brand new staff. Coach Justin St. Clair, our interim head coach at the University of Nebraska, he's in his first role as a head coach, and I'm looking forward to it. We've got a great group of young men and women at the university. Justin's doing a great job as a leader, and he's built a great staff to work with. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what that is, as well as there's some new track meets and new locations that I've never visited that I get to go see.
I've become friends with Darren Flint, father of Amelia Flint, and so he and I have kind of been talking behind the scenes as it was all going down, and we were talking about it last night. It was not only how cool, because first of all, I just think everything of Justin St. Clair, to be real frank with you, but Amelia's parents met at Nebraska, and I was like, come on, man. That's what a cool legacy to build and keep building.
There was a neat picture Amelia posted her commitment today, and it was her dad in his Nebraska letters jacket.
I know.
And I'm like, holy smokes, that's full circle.
Hey, and her dad's a sharp dude, man. I can only imagine. I know Amelia's a great athlete and very smart. Darren's a great, sharp dude. I haven't met Mom yet. I can only imagine Mom is the one who runs the ship over here.
I got to think, and then you got to look at the talent that their daughter have. Both Mom and Dad were talented.
Don't forget son Ian's right on the back.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
All right. Anyway, man, hey, let's get a selfie to end it, man. Thank you so much, Cody, man. Appreciate you being here on the live taping of the Gill Connections Podcast. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for all you do for the sport.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Let's see if we have Mike J. Yeah, let's get this. This is a real treat for me. For a couple of reasons. One, this guy is the voice of track and field. This setup might not be good enough for him. He may give me tips on how to record here, because this is the real voice of track and field right here, live at the Denver, Colorado USTFCCCA 2022 convention. And this was completely unplanned. I had no idea this was going to happen, so I'm just overwhelmed that you're here. Please introduce yourself to the audience today,
Sure.
Mike.
My name's Mike J. from Iowa, and yeah, I'm tickled to death to be here. I was invited by Sam Seams from down at the NCAA cross country meet. And then, of course, the Drake Relays are presenting the symposium.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing some intros and helping out with awards and living the high life, man. This has been on my bucket list to come to this, but I had no reason to come.
Yeah.
I was never
right.
a high school coach, never a college coach, and I haven't coached for 10 years. But I like to hang around. Coaches are good people.
Yeah, amen.
You know,
Absolutely.
so it worked out. It's awesome.
And Mike, there's a lot of reasons I like you. One, not only your skill set as far as what you do as the announcer of Drake Relays and other meets and things like that. That's amazing. It's kind of a cool, unique talent, right? I don't know that I can have anybody else come on that does this.
Well,
Blake, I had Blake to start off. He just did the meet at Spokane. Where he did that.
Yep.
You also run an amazing, is it fair to say charity event? I want to make sure I'm
foundation.
Yeah. That gives back to young people. I mean, come on, from your heart. That is just really, really amazing. And then you host your own podcast, which is cool.
Yeah.
I love that. But one of the things that I really like niche, right? And so, track is its own niche, right?
Right.
And you have pole vaulters, that's kind of a niche right here.
Yep.
But there are a select few people out there that niche down to their state track and field. And I love how you introduce yourself, Mike J. from Iowa.
Yep.
You are Mr. Iowa when it comes to the history of the sport in the state, advocating for the athletes and coaches. I'm always blown away. I can't imagine what kind of database you have when a meet goes off at the Alabama Invitational and you're like, so-and-so that went to Boonville High School and this high school and this used to coach at UNI. I just love that aspect.
Well,
of you,
a lot of it's from memory, and hopefully that'll stick with me for a while. But it's just I lucked out, Mike, and I'll just tell you the backstory. In 1975, I was a sophomore in high school. I tell people I had to work my butt off to be mediocre, and would never even dreamed about qualifying to the Drake Relays or the state meet. But a small town of Columbus Junction, 1,500 people. And my head coach said, hey, we've got an extra ticket. Do you want to go? So I went to Drake, went to state in the spring, and I've never missed either one since 1975. And I credit my high school coaches for instilling a love of the sport. Got into the relays in 75 and Jim Duncan on the mic. And I remember telling Coach Purdy, I'm going to do this someday.
Yeah.
And
that's really
so I have. And it's just been, and we've got really good kids in Iowa, we're, and we understand that you're not going to get a lot of recruits from Florida and Texas, and that's okay. But we'll get enough of them to blend in with the Iowa kids, and most of the good programs in Iowa, regardless of the sport, they get 3-star recruits and make them a 5 before they
100%.
graduate. And they don't come in as a 5. And I've always loved that work ethic, and so it's just it's been a labor of love for me and our foundation. When I coached, we always had kids that had a need. So I've got great supporters. I just saw Rich Benoit down here on the way, and he says, I'm going to send you guys some shoes to give to kids. And my favorite story is about 3 weeks ago, I get a text from Jenny Simpson. Who is now, she'd been with New Balance her entire career.
Right.
Now with Puma.
Right.
She said, I've got a closet full of New Balance spikes. Do you want them?
Oh, come on.
And so she sent me a great big box, 39 pairs of spikes. She had signed a singlet and a pair of spikes, and we raffled them off at our track clinic 2 weeks ago and made over $800.
Oh, man.
So,
Mike, as we wrap up, where can people go? Because first of all, you blessed me with a shirt, the Track Guy shirt. And I get shirts from around. I mean, I've got them.
I see them every day.
People send them to me. I'm so blessed. And I'm not going to lie. That track shirt that you gave me, it was at the Nutty Comb Invitational.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the most comfortable shirt I own. I mean, I don't know what the material is.
They're called Tri-Blend.
It's amazing.
My kids insisted, Dad, you just can't get an old cotton shirt because everybody has those.
Smart kids. So tell us where, this will be on the podcast all through 2023. Where can we go for those kind of items? If we have shoes we want to donate for this, where can we go?
TrackGuyFoundation.com, TrackGuyFoundation.com, and all kinds of drop-down menus. And one thing we're kind of proud of, we just did it this year for the very first time. We have track meeting posters that coaches can download, and we've got
I saw that.
Got the bio of 2 outstanding former Iowa preps on there, and so if we're going to have a track meeting, it's got a place to fill out where to meet and what time. And lastly, January 25th, we're going to get wound up, I should say, our Track Guy Speaker Series events again. We had 8 of them around the state over 2 years before COVID, and last year at the NCAA Indoor Birmingham, Dan O'Brien came up to me and said, Mike, I want to do something to help the foundation. So Dan O'Brien's going to be there January 25th.
Great.
And a couple of our Paralympic athletes from Iowa. And we've got an All-American decathlete from the University of Iowa, Austin West, and he and Dan are going to close the show with a 45-minute conversation between one of the world's best ever Olympic gold medalist talking to an up-and-comer. So it'll be fun.
Cool. So trackguyfoundation.com. You got to go there, support. He's doing great things. And Mike, I'm just so thankful for you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you for what you do for our sport. I look forward to your tweets every day, man. I really do.
We've got a lot to
and I
choose
mean
from.
that.
We get to do a selfie before we take out.
Let's do it.
Mike, thank you so much.
You bet.
Appreciate
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir. Hey, we're going to wrap up here tonight. But before we do, I'm going to try to get each one of my teammates, man. I don't do anything without my teammates, and I've got 3 great ones. Actually, I had 5 here, but 2 of them broke out. They're probably getting dinner for us is what they're probably doing.
Oh, yeah, they said they have a table.
Okay, good.
So.
This goes through 7:45, though. So, it's my boss, so I get to go out. Hey, so I just wanted to kind of quickly highlight as we wrap up tonight. We've had some amazing coaches. We kind of started on the Drake Relays and a little bit ended on the Drake Relays with Mike J. Was here. But we, what you think that we do here, scoot over. He just did not get the hand signals. I kept touching him, like, get up here. We have just some amazing teammates here. And this is kind of, I don't want to belittle this, Scott, and say my right-hand man. But what I mean by that is this is the guy who really does it all, to be real frank with you. Scott Phelps here oversees our sales team for our Gill stock divisions, all the pits, poles, hurdles, and implements, things like that. So, Scott, introduce yourself, and I'm just going to ask you a couple fun questions, man.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Scott Phelps. I've worked at Gill going on 5 years now. Was a coach for 8 years at the college level and started as a sales rep, and now kind of have a hand in everything at Gill.
He runs the show. Let's not be too. He won't say that, but I will, and I can. And you were a really good. I can say that because you know what you are. Half miler for the University of Illinois, and you're from the area, and you went and coached at places like Dartmouth and Northeastern and Texas. What did it mean, as you were coming out of coaching and moving, you got the chance to not only move back to home base, but you got to stay in track and field. How much of a draw was that for you? Or was it just like, I just needed a job?
There was a little bit of that. There was definitely a pull back to Central Illinois. But staying in the sport was big. I still am always going to follow track and running and things like that. And so it was nice to have somebody, to work at a place where I could talk about track and people knew what I was talking about.
No one shunned you. It's like, yeah, keep talking. Why don't you talk more, actually? That's awesome, man. Well, I love it, man. Scott, you bring a whole different set of positives and advantages to our team, man. I'm just so thankful for you being on our team. And now I'm going to have a little fun. So I've got 100 questions here, 1 through 100. They're numbered 1 through 100. You get to pick the number.
All right, 87.
Why 87?
My lucky number.
Okay. Not your football.
It doesn't come up very often as 87, but
yeah, we never. Yeah, that's true. We didn't have enough. We had all dudes on the podcast here tonight, besides Jessica. And every guy, when they pick their number, it's their old high school football number to a T. All right, 87 here. 87, right?
Yep.
All right, sweet or savory? What's your favorite dessert?
Cinnamon roll. If I could do just the middle part of a cinnamon roll,
Amen.
Not even the outer part,
Amen.
That'd be my
Why
my
has
ideal.
We talked about the inventions and things like that.
$1 million
Why has no
idea.
one done that?
Yeah.
Because that is that. You get the dry crust. I'm like, yeah, here, get that to the dog, man. Give me that ooey gooey center. All right, man. To wrap us up here tonight, because you have a whole different aspect of track and field.
Sure.
What are you most looking forward to in the 2023 track and field season?
Yeah. Well, I think everybody remembers where they were when kind of COVID first happened.
Unfortunately, yes.
And I was at NCAA's in Albuquerque at the national championships, and they are back in Albuquerque this March. And so I am looking forward to actually having NCAA's at Albuquerque.
Full circle.
Yeah.
I didn't even.
Yeah,
think
that's what I'm
that.
looking forward to.
That's true, because we were there on the Tuesday and Wednesday. It's like, man, we're gonna have Division I. Let's go. Let's rock it. Okay, pack your stuff up and go home.
Yep.
And then just it just kept getting that.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that too, man. That's
Yep.
really good, man. All right, we're gonna get a selfie. Get these
right.
other 2 guys in here, and we can go eat, man. Oh, I gotta press the button. Right. There we go. Scott, thank you, man.
cool.
I really appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Mike.
So grateful for you. We got 2 more. I'm not gonna let them off the hook. I want you to go last, actually. I'm going to get him off the hook, and I'm going to get this guy on the hook first. I'm going to end with a very special person, although this guy is special too. I'm not belittling here. He likes to dress like me. You can see very close here. Go ahead and close up here. So I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we'll go at it. Go ahead.
So I'm River. I'm a former pole vaulter. I still vault a little bit. I got to stay with the fun, the thing you love.
And so I'm in sales on the east side of things, and then I work a lot with the pacer and pole vault poles. And any questions there?
So what, you were a pole vaulter in college, and you're kind of I don't want to say a low-key track nerd, but you're a track nerd. You don't exude it too much. You like to keep your composure there. But what was it like when through the interview process, coming out of college and going to work for Gill Athletics? Was there anything neat about it, or was it just like, yeah, man, I just needed a job, dog? I was out of college.
I mean, I definitely I had a good college job to where I could have stayed in my college town and been at the beach for a while, and I wanted to do something that I would love and be excited to do. And so as a pole vaulter, getting to work in a track and field company was definitely something I was very excited to do.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, we were definitely glad to have you, and we're going to talk about what's upcoming here in a second, though. But we're going to have a little fun. Don't cheat. I've got 100 questions, 1 through 100. Don't cheat. This is how we got to. Hey, so hold on. Before we go in, I can't believe I talked about this earlier, actually, with one of our past guests here. But my friend here, River, went to Coastal Carolina University. And as you know from tonight and all the other podcasts, I try to mention it at least once a show. I went to the greatest university in the world, Troy University. And Troy University and Coastal Carolina University played in the championship game. Actually, I'm not sure Coastal Carolina played in the championship. They played second half.
I think our offense played.
You played second half.
I think our offense.
First half, you ain't play. You didn't play at all. So now we're understanding how he graduated through college. He was cheating. He's looking off my paperwork here. 1 through 100, sir. What you got?
I'll do 57.
And why 57?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's a great answer. That's the best answer we've had all night. 57, sir. Let's go to your hometown. Where is the spot in your hometown to eat?
There isn't one.
There's no barbecue joint, the pizza place where everybody met up at?
No.
Really?
We're talking one red light town.
Yeah, but there's always, that's where some of the best food is.
No. I'm trying to think. I really don't think there was.
The Sonic on the corner with the stoplight? Nothing.
Waffle House, but there's a million of them.
No, bro. A friend of mine who's at UNLV now was complaining because there's no Waffle House in Las Vegas. Nearest one actually is in Denver. I tweeted him and said, well, you can get it up here in Denver.
There's not one in Champaign, and someone needs to open one by our office.
There's not one in Champaign. Yeah, I love Waffle House. So River, not to put you on the spot because it's common knowledge, you joined us a little over a year ago, and you are breaking my heart. You're leaving us to go to a really wonderful opportunity. I really am happy and proud of you. But I just kind of wanted to get it on paper, on wax here, and just say, man, I'm just so proud of you. I don't like that you're leaving. You are a great addition to the team. What you created over this past year and a half-ish will continue to live on. What you created is sustainability and a lot of things, man. And I'm just so proud of you. I love you to death. And I truly, selfishly hate that you're leaving, but I am just uber proud of you and what you're going to do in a bunch of other different industries and for your family and future family, man. It's going to be big, and I can't wait to just watch the journey from the sidelines.
I'm excited.
All right, brother, man. Love you to death. Let's get a selfie real quick, and then we're going to bring in really this guest of the whole week that I've been waiting to get here on the podcast. He looks like he was doing some bins. I think he's nervous a little bit here, but that's okay. This is just kind of what I do. I put people on the spot. We were going to call the podcast the On the Spot podcast once. Go ahead and scoot up for me. And we're going to put him on the spot here. So why don't you introduce yourself here to our audience today?
I'm Jim Turchin, originally from Indiana, and now I live in Champaign. Worked at Gill for about 14 years.
14?
Yep.
Is that right?
Just about, yeah.
So I'm pushing on toward the 17th. So you weren't that far behind me.
Correct.
I feel like I'm the old man, so I always feel like I'm 20 years longer than anybody, even though I've only been here 17.
Sure.
And tell us what you do at Gill Athletics.
Yeah, I'm in R&D. I dabble in a little bit of track and field stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the track background, so I enjoy when I can. I also work in our basketball product range. Mm-hmm. Work on our basketball portables, basketball rims, backboards, and whatnot. So.
And tell us a little bit about that track background that you have.
I ran. My dad got me inspired, got me into the sport. He ran for IU back in the day.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. Is that right?
My high school coach. And
he ran for Indiana.
He ran for Indiana in the 70s.
Wow. Yeah. And so you ran track at
Batesville High School, and then went to Valparaiso.
The Crusaders.
Yes.
Yes. I try to know every.
But I should correct you. It's no longer the Crusaders. It was when I was there.
What is it now?
We're now the Beacons. So
the
Beacons.
Like a lighthouse?
They changed the mascot to a lighthouse. You should know this.
I don't know about that one. I understand why the Crusader. I get that, but there had to be other options besides Beacons.
There probably were, and they got voted down.
you could be the school with no mascot, Illinois. We don't know what we are. So one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the podcast here on the live recording here at the USTFCCCA Convention here in Denver, Colorado. First of all, I'm super glad you don't normally travel with us, and so I'm super happy that you're here. One is I want to put you on the spot. I like to highlight our team, especially the ones that have track background. So one day I want you to be on the full podcast. You are absolutely able to say no. You don't have to commit now. But I wanted to get it on paper just in case you said yes. I can come back and say, no, bro, you said yes.
I can do it.
But thank you. One of the real reasons we are unveiling our Continuum C5 hurdle at this show. And this is pretty revolutionary. And you were, it takes a whole team. I know you're going to say, you were the leader of this. So this new hurdle, you can check it out on our catalog or online. There's some videos on social media. If you think about when you go to move a hurdle up or down, the first thing that everybody does, or at least they should do, is they put their foot on that cross brace, right? Kind of to stabilize that hurdle down. And then they click it up 30, 33, 36 or whatnot. Or if you have our C4, the ones we use at NCAA's, you trigger and you move up, right? Well, our boss, David Hodge, must think, I keep telling about it, he must think I'm the greatest salesman in the world. I'm a pretty pricey hurdle. But the real challenge was we actually had to develop this thing. And my friend here, Jim Turchin, you were the lead design on this. Can you talk a little bit about that process? Because you were creating something from scratch. There was no blueprint here.
Well, I'll say there kind of was, because the C4 is a tried and true hurdle. It's been out there for years. I helped on the development of that as well, just behind the scenes. But we wanted to keep as much of that the same as we could. It's such a durable hurdle. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, right.
That we wanted to keep as much the same as we could. But yeah, we wanted to incorporate this new feature. So we actually looked to the luggage industry, the telescoping handles on those. Luggage gets tossed and thrown around all day, every day.
All day.
Takes a beating.
Especially mine.
So we took we bought luggage. We looked at those mechanisms, and everybody uses the same thing. So we just essentially looked at that. We adapted it to fit inside of our hurdle uprights. And we are hoping to, have the same durability out of that mechanism for our hurdles.
It was really fascinating. I got to be along that journey on the sales side, which means I just got to muck stuff up. Whenever the sales guys walk in, the engineer's like, holy crap, what are we doing now? But it was really interesting to see buying the luggage, tearing it apart, learning, okay, this is what this happened. Okay, but now we need to do it 180 degrees. We got to do this thing upside down. Oh, and by the way, we're going to have people like Trey Cunningham and oh my gosh,
or David Oliver.
David, I'm sorry, man. I love you, man. I'm so sorry. The DO test, right? That people are going to be hitting and knocking the ever-living snot out, so it's got to be durable. So it was really interesting to see that flip inside of the R&D mechanism, and then also the testing that we do. Now, I got to ask, as the R&D guy, is testing the most fun thing that you guys do? From the outside, it seems like it when you get to kind of just try to break stuff.
Testing is fun. We do and don't want to break stuff. Early on, you want to break stuff so you can learn. Then late on, when you think you've figured everything out, it's also nerve-wracking because you don't.
I never thought about it like that. It's like, okay, no, we fixed it now. Oh yeah, no, we didn't. That's son of okay, all right, that's no good.
My favorite part is even before that, just the design.
Yeah, well, that's cool. And what was your there's people out there right now going, well, wait a minute, working in the track side. I don't know if I want to be a salesperson, but I like to create stuff and ideas. What was your major in college that led you into this kind of career?
As a mechanical engineer. Out of the gates, I worked for a hospital manufacturer in my hometown. Shout out to Hillrom.
No one knows.
No, for sure. Well,
so someone right now has an aunt that works for Hillrom. It's like, oh my God, he said.
Well, if you're on a hospital bed, there's
sure
more than 50% chance in the U.S. that you're on it.
Wow. Right. Did you ever think you'd be working inside of track designing stuff like this? And in basketball, I mean, not even I assume you didn't play basketball.
Everyone from Indiana plays basketball.
Well, that's a good point.
I played through middle school.
Okay.
Then I switched over to running.
Nice. I love it, man. Well, we're going to get Jim on the podcast maybe in 2023 and learn the whole story, man. I'm really excited about that. But before you leave today, we're going to have some fun. I've got 100 questions here, numbered 1 through 100. You get to pick the number.
I will go with 9.
Was that your basketball number?
No, I thought ahead of time I'm going to do my anniversary dates.
Oh, nice. Love that. All right, number 9, cha-ching. What currently costs money but should be free to everyone?
I'm going to say healthcare.
Yes, I agree with that. We had that question earlier, and quickly, as Philip Redrick from Fort Scott said, apartments, living. And I was like,
Sure.
man, that's a really good, like, I'm so shallow. My answer was, oh, internet. Internet should be free to everyone. But no, healthcare, I agree.
Healthcare is just something that can spring up on you. And
No,
it's-
100%. And that it's tied to your employment is just I mean, it's just not right. It's not right. Man, Jim, thank you so much. Thanks for ending it. So this has been our first live event. We've never recorded live and out there. No bleep button, no editing. Warts and all out there. And so you were a really good anchor to put us on the podcast today.
Thanks
So
for having me.
we're going to take a selfie, and then I'm going to sign off, and then we're going to go eat because I am hungry. What do we do? Almost 3 hours. I like that. Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Tertian. Hey, and thank you for being here on the live recording, man. I can't believe that they talked me into this and we did it, and it went really, really well. If you have suggestions on how it could have gone better, put them in the comments, man. I want to get better at this, and maybe we'll do this next year at 2023 for the USTFCCCA Convention that's going to be in Denver. We're going to be right here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to the Gill Athletics Connections podcast. We are excited for season 4 coming up on January 2nd. Check it out, and hope to see you around. Thanks, guys.